Chapter 2886. Rage from Shame. Clap clap clap. At this moment, Meng Lu clapped his hands. Well said, well said. Now you know the difference between you and me. Sun Bone thought that Meng Lu was convinced. There is indeed a difference between us, but is your character really that good? Meng Lu's expression was calm as he looked at the crowd. I want to ask everyone, if your clan is massacred, how will you react? Nonsense, we'll kill the enemy with our swords. Nonsense. Clan enmity is irreconcilable. Is there even a need to say this? Nonsense. Many people looked at Meng Lu with disdain, feeling that he was simply saying some childish words. It seems that you are all hot-blooded men, but as far as I know, your Sun Bone doesn't dare say a single word when faced with clan enmity. He can only run away with his tail between his legs. How can someone like this have the most perfect character? Meng Lu suddenly said, causing the entire plaza to fall silent. The corners of Sun Bone's eyes twitched, and his expression became unsightly. What nonsense are you spouting? Nonsense. However, someone immediately shouted angrily at Meng Lu. What? You won't even tell the truth? Sun Bone secretly ordered you to do this, right? Meng Lu said with a faint smile. He wouldn't stop until he shocked everyone to death. Shut up. Nonsense. A young man leaped out from the side of the plaza. He had a cultivation of the 7th level of the true God realm and wasn't weak. After he appeared, he attacked Meng Lu domineeringly. You won't let me speak? Are you trying to silence me by killing me? Meng Lu smiled calmly and didn't resist, allowing that person to attack him. However, when that person approached him, a strange aura spread out, and his soul was instantly extracted by Meng Lu. Bang! That soul was simultaneously crushed by Meng Lu, and that person stood in the plaza like a stone statue, completely dead. You dare attack me with this level of strength? Nonsense. Meng Lu shook his head in disdain, then looked at Sun Bone and said, Sun Bone, you should find someone stronger. Moreover, you should be clear about my strength. Ordinary exceptional talents aren't my match, but you, Sun Bone, knew this, yet you didn't warn that person before. From this, it can be seen how despicable your character is. Shut. Shut up. Shut. Taiyang Bone could no longer maintain his calm and shouted angrily. You don't want me to talk. Unfortunately, I had to say it. Meng Lu took a step forward and laughed heartily. In the past, Lin Ling led a group of experts to Tating Commandery and destroyed the commandery right in front of Sun Bone. But our Sun Bone, who is most likely to become Emperor Qing, didn't do anything. In front of Lin Ling, he could only obediently keep his mouth shut. He didn't even dare to resist. Such a person dares to say that he's fearless and only afraid of himself? And as far as I know, Lin Ling's rainforest Holy Land was destroyed because Sun Bone asked others for help. What a joke. You only dare to ask others for help to take revenge for your family. Even if it's an old man in his 80s or 90s, he still has more backbone than you. Dreamflow's words were like a barrage of cannons, bombarding Sun Bone's face until it was extremely gloomy. Whispers could be heard all around the square. Not long ago, Sun Bone had proudly said that in his entire life, he feared himself and wanted to surpass himself. But now, weren't these words slapping his own face? Meng Lu, you're talking nonsense. Sun Bone sensed the strange gazes around him, and he was so angry that he was boiling. Today was the day that his name would shake the entire Azure province. He was also telling everyone that he, Sun Bone, was the most likely to become Emperor Qing. However, Meng Lu had come to make trouble and hit him when he was down. Not only was he unable to be proud, but he was even more humiliated. A person who wanted to become Emperor Qing had his country destroyed, but he didn't dare to resist. Such a person could only be called a coward. What's wrong? Senior brother Sun Bone, are you angry because I've hit your sore spot? Meng Lu continued to hit him when he was down. He looked at the geniuses who admired Sun Bone and asked, "May I ask if your senior brother is a man?" Hearing this, those geniuses were speechless. They couldn't answer anything. For a moment, the entire square was filled with whispers. Although no one dared to laugh at Sun Bone, it was obvious that their gazes had quietly changed. Meng Lu, this is the Azure Dragon manner. Don't be so shameless. The Azure Dragon King sensed the strange atmosphere around him and let out a low growl. Sun Bone had lost face, and the Azure Dragon manner had also lost face. Azure Dragon Manor, the overlord of the Four-Ring City, but the current Manor Lord is also a coward. Let me ask you, after your son's death, do you know the murderer? Who would have thought that not only was Meng Lu unafraid, he even laughed loudly. Are you going to shut up? At the mention of his son, the Azure Dragon King's lungs almost exploded. Azure Dragon King, you definitely know who the murderer is. Even the people here know, but knowing is one thing. Do you dare to take revenge? Meng Lu continued, you don't dare. You and Sun Bone are the same, only putting on an act in front of outsiders, saying how powerful you are, but in reality, you're nothing but a coward, trash, trash. What's ironic is that two cowards are actually worshipped and respected by the Azure Province's overlords. Could it be that all the Azure Province's overlords are cowards? Meng Lu's voice grew louder with each sentence, causing everyone's face to turn green with anger. Enough, you're spouting nonsense here. What are your intentions? Did the Black Warrior Manor send you here? I know, you want to become one of the Azure Province's 9 great heavens, but you're not Sun Bone's opponent, so you're slandering him. You want to help the Black Warrior Manor suppress the Azure Dragon Manor, so you're slandering the Azure Dragon Manor. Meng Lu, your intentions are too vicious, don't think everyone is unaware. At this time, an old man beside the Azure Dragon King stepped out. Obviously, he had received the Azure Dragon King's order to stop Meng Lu from doing whatever he wanted, otherwise, their Azure Dragon Manor would have no face to see others in the future. Slander? However, Meng Lu shook his head. The one who destroyed the Grand Court Commandery was Lin Ling, and the one who killed the Azure Dragon Manor's son was also Lin Ling. Yet, you're saying that I'm slandering. Do you have any shame? Do you have any shame? Meng Lu's last sentence shook the surroundings, echoing endlessly. Lin Ling? Everyone recalled this name repeatedly. Whether it was Sun Bone or the Azure Dragon Manor, Lin Ling had left them with great humiliation. If Sun Bone had the potential to become the Azure Emperor, then what about Lin Ling? Lin Ling was clearly above Sun Bone. Ironically, even though Lin Ling had accomplished such a feat, far surpassing Sun Bone, he would not be like Sun Bone, summoning the Azure Province's overlords to build his own reputation. In other words, a true dragon was low-key, while a cockroach was jumping up and down. What a foul mouth, what a vicious heart, I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of the Black Warrior Manor. Hearing Sun Bone's words, the old man bellowed, leaping out and attacking. Awesome! Chapter 2887. I'm Lin Ling. Meng Lu's talent was terrifying and unmatched among the geniuses of the 3 academies. However, the old man was a first-level martial immortal and his power of the universe was extremely complete. He actually borrowed the power of the universe to grab Meng Lu. He obviously knew of Meng Lu's talent, so he didn't approach him. As a result, Meng Lu's talent couldn't be unleashed. In terms of other means, Meng Lu was only at the peak of the true God realm and was inferior to him. Bastard! Moreover, he wasn't the only one who attacked. The old woman on the other side also attacked. The two of them were obviously husband and wife and were highly respected in the Azure Dragon Manor. They were known as the Twin Crimson Dragons. When the old woman attacked, a crimson ancient dragon roared out. It was actually formed from the power of the universe and was extremely terrifying. Under the attacks of the two seniors, dark clouds rolled in the sky, causing the entire four-ring city to move. As for Meng Lu, the pressure on him increased. He didn't expect the Azure Dragon manner to be so shameless. In order to deal with him, they actually let two first-level Wuxia experts join forces. Your mouth stinks. I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of your elders. The old woman said sarcastically. The crimson dragon swept towards Meng Lu's head. It looked like she was teaching him a lesson, but in reality, she wanted to kill him. What a pity. Meng Lu is also a rare genius in the Azure province and is only below Lin Ling. However, he's still a little weak against the Azure Dragon manner and the Sun Bone alone. I know he's always admired Lin Ling and wants to surpass Lin Ling. Therefore, he dares to do what Lin Ling dares to do. However, he's not as powerful as Lin Ling. Meng Lu is probably going to die. Around the square, some of the overlords of the Azure province knew of the Azure Dragon King's schemes and shook their heads. However, just as the old woman's crimson dragon wrapped around Meng Lu, a long roar suddenly sounded. Brother Meng Lu, you're really brave. However, how can I miss out on such a thing? A black shadow shot out like a rock and appeared beside Meng Lu. It opened its palms wide, and it was incomparably domineering. It actually tore the crimson dragon apart. Soon after, a person wearing a large cloak appeared in the plaza, causing the plaza to become deathly silent. Everyone was greatly alarmed. This person's strength is so strong. He actually suppressed the attack of a martial immortal with his bare hands. How dare you meddle in the affairs of the Azure Dragon Divine Manor? The old woman roared angrily, her old face gloomy. Snakes and rats are really a nest of snakes and rats. Someone touched your sore spot, so you killed him to silence him. Your Azure Dragon Divine Manor is really a disgrace. The cloaked man spoke indifferently. As soon as he finished speaking, his figure moved and strangely appeared before the old woman. With a single punch, he blasted it out cleanly. In my opinion, the Azure Dragon Divine Manor is only a so-so. Rumble. That fist was terrifying to this extent, the world essence extremely great, making that old woman's pupils tremble. Who was this person? Why was he even more terrifying than Meng Lu? Boom. However, just as she was about to say something, the fist landed on her body, causing her body to tremble violently. Then, she directly exploded, her flesh and blood splattering everywhere. A martial immortal level expert had been killed just like that. Furthermore, he had been killed by a single fist strike. So strong. Everyone's hearts trembled, including Meng Lu. That was because he saw that the cloaked man's cultivation was the same as his. In fact, it seemed that the cloaked man's cultivation was slightly weaker than his. However, the cloaked man's cultivation was something that he could not defeat. Old woman. On the other side, the old man's eyes turned red. He never thought that killing Meng Lu would cause his wife to die. You'll pay with your life. The old man gave up on attacking Meng Lu and pounced toward the cloaked man. Be careful. Dreamy Flow subconsciously called out. Boom. However, just as his voice fell, the cloaked man had already attacked. His speed was extremely fast, the speed of the 9 realms. Moreover, it was still a single punch. With a single punch, he actually killed the old man who possessed 10% of the power of the universe. The twin crimson dragons had both died. As for the person who had taken their lives, he had only used 2 moves. Evidently, he was an overlord that could not be underestimated in the Azure province. Senior, thank you. Even Meng Lu was astonished by the cloaked man's strength. Sir, you killed my people in my Azure Dragon Divine Mansion. You are truly too arrogant. At that moment, the Azure Dragon King was naturally furious. However, Sun Gu waved his hand to stop him. Instead, he looked at the cloaked man and said, "Sir, must you protect Meng Lu? Earlier, he misled the crowd with his lies and slandered our great Azure Dragon Divine Mansion. This is already a capital offense. If you insist on protecting him, be careful of provoking someone that you cannot afford to provoke." Seeing that the cloaked man was very powerful, he guessed that the cloaked man's origin was not small. Thus, he gave the cloaked man face and said those words. "Ha!" However, the cloaked man laughed wildly and slowly removed his cloak. First, he did not mislead the crowd with his lies. Second, you and the Azure Dragon Divine Mansion are not enough to make me feel fear. That's because I am Lin Ling. When the cloak was removed, a handsome face appeared in front of everyone, causing their hearts to beat violently. Lin Ling was back? He was not dead? Everyone looked at Sun Gu and then looked at Lin Ling. At that moment, their lips curled into a strange smile. Previously, Sun Gu would rather die than admit that he was afraid of Lin Ling. He also did not dare to admit that he had destroyed his country. Now, the murderer who destroyed his Grand Court Commandery had appeared, proving everything. Moreover, the Azure Dragon Divine Mansion was the same. Lin Ling had killed the Azure Dragon King's son, so the Azure Dragon King should hate him to the core. However, Lin Ling was still alive. Everything showed that they were afraid of Lin Ling. "It's you." Meng Lu also stared at Lin Ling in disbelief. Then, he smiled bitterly. He was currently the most dazzling genius in Qingzhou. His rise was fast, and his name was known throughout Qingzhou. However, there was still one person above him, and that was Lin Ling. However, he was not convinced. He had always wanted to surpass Lin Ling. This was a kind of fighting spirit, an unyielding fighting spirit. However, the previous incident also proved that while Meng Lu's strength had increased greatly, Lin Ling had improved even more than him. At the very least, Meng Lu was helpless against the Red Dragon duo. On the other hand, Lin Ling killed them with 2 punches. "Lin Ling, this has nothing to do with you. Get lost." Sun Gu and the Azure Dragon King stared at Lin Ling in disbelief, especially Sun Gu. He thought that Lin Ling had disappeared and was killed by the Empress Dowager. Now that he had appeared at their most glorious moment, they were undoubtedly furious. Lin Ling's appearance was definitely not a good thing. In fact, Lin Ling was their nightmare. In fact, they were not afraid of Lin Ling's strength. However, they had witnessed Lin Ling's charisma. It could be said that in the Great Azure Divine Dynasty, 40% of the powerhouses in Qingzhou would give face to Lin Ling. Therefore, they knew that Lin Ling was not someone they could provoke. "Huh, Sun Gu, are you afraid of me?" Chapter 2888. If you're not convinced, let's fight. Sun Bone, you're a coward. Do you think I, Lin Ling, don't know that you asked others to destroy my rainforest sacred land? When I destroyed your country, you didn't dare to confront me and only dared to do some cowardly things. But when you destroyed my rainforest sacred land, I, Lin Ling, am not as cowardly as you. I'm here today to kill you. Lin Ling's voice was like thunder from the heavens. It was different from Meng Lu's. He was straightforward and went straight to the point. This guy. Meng Lu's jaw dropped. He also didn't like Sun Bone, but he restrained his provocation. On the other hand, Lin Ling dared to confront him head-on. He was arrogant and overbearing. Even he felt ashamed of his inferiority. The grudge between the two of them isn't small. However, Sun Bone is one of the 9 heavens of Qingzhou. When his country was destroyed, he could only hide obediently. Lin Ling is different. When his country was destroyed, he immediately came to kill. This is how a cultivator should be. Yeah, Sun Bone said that he has the highest chance of becoming the Azure Emperor. But above him, Lin Ling is more qualified. The crowd also spoke up. They looked at the blue and white robe in the square with admiration in their eyes. Lin Ling, leave first. We'll settle our grudge another day. For now, the Azure Dragon Manor doesn't welcome you. Sun Bone stared at Lin Ling with an ugly expression. He couldn't wait to kill Lin Ling, but he didn't dare. He had a feeling that if he attacked Lin Ling, he would be killed before he could even touch Lin Ling. Therefore, even if he hated Lin Ling, he could only lower his voice. Sun Bone, are you that afraid of me? If you knew this would happen, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. Lin Ling said coldly. Was it possible for him to leave? Lin Ling, shut up. This is the Azure Dragon Manor. Seeing Lin Ling's overbearing attitude, the Azure Dragon King roared. You shut up too. Unfortunately, Lin Ling wasn't afraid at all. He even looked at this big shot of Four Ring City and sneered, you are the Azure Dragon King. Since when did you have to suck up to the 9 heavens of the Azure Province? Don't you feel ashamed? However, given your thick skin, you shouldn't feel that way. However, have you not considered the other 3 divine dwellings? They are as famous as you, but you have done such a lowly thing. They have also lost face. They are not as lowly as you. Their son died, and then they casually took a dog as their son. Enough. Hearing Lin Ling's words, the Azure Dragon King gritted his teeth. Enough? I haven't finished yet. Your son died in my hands. Now that the murderer is right in front of you, do you dare to kill him? Do you dare? Lin Ling took a step forward, his blue robe flapping loudly. He was asking the Azure Dragon King whether he dared or not. In the past, although he had no enmity with the Azure Dragon Manor, the son of the Azure Dragon had provoked him and was killed in the end. Therefore, he knew that the Azure Dragon King would kill him no matter what. However, Lin Ling was too powerful, and the Azure Dragon King didn't dare to make a move. Therefore, Lin Ling had no reason to fear him. Lin Ling, you are only relying on the lords behind you. If not, you are nothing. Don't be too arrogant. Sun Bone lost his mind when he saw that Lin Ling had snatched his stage. I, Lin Ling, am relying on the lords behind me? Lin Ling laughed even louder. Sun Bone wanted to preserve his last bit of reputation and trample on Lin Ling at the same time. However, was Sun Bone qualified? I, Lin Ling, came from the sacred land of the rainforest. When I first arrived in Qingzhou, no one knew me. I relied on my perseverance and strength to make a name for myself. But what about you, Sun Bone? Who are the people behind you? Do you dare to say that you relied on your own strength to make a name for yourself? Lin Ling said word by word. Sun Bone opened his mouth, but he couldn't refute him. The others nodded secretly. Lin Ling wasn't famous at all in the beginning. He did rely on himself to rise step by step. Gradually, he was noticed by the great Azure Divine Dynasty. It could be said that Lin Ling relied on his own blood, sweat, and perseverance to reach where he was today. Sun Bone was born with a golden spoon in his mouth. He was the #1 genius of the 4 great commanderies. He didn't lack cultivation resources. The big shots also gave him face and allowed him to rise rapidly. Therefore, when comparing the two, how could the Sun Bone compare to Lin Ling? Now, Sun Bone still had the nerve to say that Lin Ling relied on the people behind him. How ironic. Moreover, the two of them had different starting points and had different achievements. Lin Ling could make the big shots of Qingzhou give him face, but Sun Bone couldn't. He could only call on people like the Azure Dragon King. How could he have the nerve to say that? For a moment, the Azure Dragon Manor and Sun Bone were speechless from the humiliation. The humiliation he had just suffered was even more severe than the blow brought about by the dream stream. Lin Ling, what a good guy. You stole the Azure Emperor's imperial jade seal and became famous in Qingzhou. Is that why you're so arrogant? The Azure Dragon King is a righteous person. You killed his son, but he didn't take revenge on you. Instead, you're seeking revenge. Aren't you too petty? Or do you think you're a big shot in Qingzhou? At this moment, a sarcastic voice rang out. Among the crowd, a middle-aged man was drinking tea as he spoke as if he was talking to himself. This person was the housekeeper of the Thunder Sound Manor. He was here to represent the Thunder Sound Manor. The Thunder Sound Manor had a grudge against Lin Ling, so to them, Lin Ling was their greatest enemy. You're saying that I'm lawless and arrogant? Lin Ling looked at the middle-aged man indifferently. He didn't know him. Isn't that the case? If all the martial artists in Qingzhou were like you, Qingzhou would be in chaos. The middle-aged man was still drinking tea. His words seemed to be fanning the flames. Since you put it that way, I'll tell you. I, Lin Ling, am lawless. Go ahead and boast. Lin Ling smiled and looked directly at the middle-aged man. He spoke without fear. At this moment, the middle-aged man stopped drinking tea and his eyes trembled violently. His previous words were to sow discord and make the big shots of Qingzhou target Lin Ling. He thought that Lin Ling would clarify himself, but who knew that not only did Lin Ling not clarify himself, he even admitted it domineeringly. So what if I'm lawless? You. The middle-aged man pointed at Lin Ling and was speechless for a moment. What about you? If you're not convinced, let's fight. I know that many of you are not convinced by me, Lin Ling. Then, let's fight. But if you dare to come out, you'll die. If you don't, then shut up and stop your nonsense. Lin Ling's robes fluttered as he looked at the big shots of Qingzhou. Today, he was going to take Sun Bone away. He wanted to see who could resist him. The entire Azure Dragon Manor was silent. Countless gazes were fixed on the figure in blue robes, fearless of heaven and earth. Peerless arrogance. This figure was deeply imprinted in their hearts, and they would never forget it. Even Meng Lu's mouth was agape. Lin Ling was challenging a big shot of Qingzhou. As expected of Lin Ling. Lin Ling, you mocked Sun Bone for relying on others to destroy your hometown. Today, you're here to challenge Sun Bone. Didn't you also rely on the big shots of Qingzhou? If you're so capable, you two can fight one-on-one. At this moment, a cold voice sounded from the crowd. It was unknown who was the one shouting. However, his goal was very sinister. He wanted to force Lin Ling to fight Sun Bone face to face. That's right. Aren't you arrogant? Do you dare? Chapter 2889. Against the 9 heavens of the Azure Province. Humph, you have the nerve to say that? How long has Sun Bone cultivated? How long has Lin Ling cultivated? Is it fair to have them fight face to face? As soon as he finished speaking, Meng Lu also spoke. He knew what those people were up to. If Lin Ling fell for it, he would be in trouble. Lin Ling was no match for Sun Bone of the 9 heavens of the Azure Province. And because he had fought Sun Bone before, he knew how strong he was. Meng Lu, you have so little confidence in me? Although Sun Bone is one of the 9 heavens of the Azure Province, I am very curious about his strength. I want to see how strong he is. So, let's fight. However, just as Meng Lu's voice fell, Lin Ling spoke. His words stunned Meng Lu. Lin Ling was the strongest exceptional talent not long ago. He was still some distance away from the 9 heavens of the Azure Province. Yet, 2 years later, he dared to fight Sun Bone. Even Sun Bone's pupils shrank. He seemed to think he had misheard. He hurriedly asked, Lin Ling, are you serious? Sun Bone frowned and asked. Do you think I'm a coward like you? Fight you like a dog. Lin Ling slowly walked forward, his blue robe fluttering in the wind. Fight you like a dog. His voice was filled with battle intent. It rumbled like a war drum. Everyone was shocked. Lin Ling was only at the true immortal realm, but Sun Bone was one of the 9 heavens of the Azure province. He was at the 2nd level of the martial immortal realm and had even defeated a 4th level martial immortal. Yet, Lin Ling dared to fight? Sun Bone's expression was extremely ugly. Lin Ling was about to die, yet he dared to call him a coward. However, Lin Ling dared to fight. This was exactly what he wanted. Lin Ling, oh Lin Ling. You will regret your choice. Do you think I'm afraid of you because of your strength? I'm only afraid of the big shot behind you. Come and fight. Sun Bone leapt up. Surging realm essence roared out. The fire was burning. The sky turned golden and was filled with golden flames. This was his innate talent. It was a 7th grade divine body, the burning moon heavenly flame. Lin Ling, go to hell. The surging boundary essence transformed into a palm and rushed towards Lin Ling, causing Lin Ling's eyes to be filled with a gigantic palm that blotted out the sky and earth. The world also disappeared. Sun Bone battle Lin Ling, he's actually using all of his power. Meng Lu's expression was grave as he looked at the blazing palm in the sky. Even now, he still didn't know why Lin Ling had chosen this battle. You are not qualified. Lin Ling raised his head to look at the sky. With a loud roar, he activated the demonic flame change to the heaven and earth change. Multicolored flames soared into the sky, causing him to disappear into the sea of fire. Everyone looked at Lin Ling in astonishment. Was he still human? He was completely a flame god. However, although Lin Ling was powerful, no one thought that he was a match for Sun Bone. Sun Bone was a level 2 martial immortal. He couldn't be underestimated. Rumble. Within the multicolored flames, rumbling sounds could be heard. Then, a fist exploded and shot towards the sky like a meteor. As the fist and palm approached from afar, they were as huge as mountains. Before they even collided, the entire Azure Dragon Divine Manor collapsed, and the tiles fluttered in the air like fallen leaves. When the fist and palm collided, a terrifying power erupted. That power was so strong that no one below the martial immortal realm could resist it. Golden flames and multicolored flames clashed crazily. The crowd's breathing quickened. Lin Ling was defeated in one move. Bang! However, in the next moment, 2 rumbling sounds could be heard. Because 2 figures were sent flying out of the flames, reaching a distance of 1,000 miles. Impossible. You're just a true immortal realm cultivator. How could you block my palm? Soon, a shocked voice drifted out. The Sun Bone was roaring, and its golden hair was a little messy. In the previous collision, he didn't gain any advantage. He felt like he was dreaming. What? Everyone was also looking at the sky, their expressions extremely solemn. Sun Bone was evenly matched with Lin Ling. One should know that Sun Bone was a level 2 martial immortal realm cultivator. Not to mention other things, if it were an ordinary level 2 martial immortal realm cultivator, 90% of them wouldn't be a match for him. However, Lin Ling, who was a true immortal realm cultivator, was unharmed. A frog at the bottom of a well. On the other side, Lin Ling sneered. Now that he had activated the evil flame change to the limit and combined the 2 dantians, his world essence was not much weaker than a level 2 martial immortal realm cultivator. He had tested this many times in the Crimson Province. Then, without waiting for Sun Bone to say anything, Lin Ling activated the speed of 11 worlds and appeared in front of Sun Bone. Moreover, he didn't use any martial arts. He relied on his enormous world essence to suppress Sun Bone. At this moment, Sun Bone didn't seem to react. He didn't expect Lin Ling to be so fast. Boom! With one punch, Sun Bone's cheek was fiercely punched and he spat out a mouthful of blood. After he anxiously blocked, he couldn't stop Lin Ling's fierce attack. Sun Bone, you're finished. In the past, when I first fought with the Grand Court Commandery, I spared you once. However, you went back on your words and tried to assassinate me, Lin Ling. When I fought with the Grand Court Commandery for the second time, I thought that it would be enough to catch the murderer. However, the people of your commandery insulted me. Therefore, I destroyed your commandery. This is what the Grand Court Commandery asked for. Lin Ling's voice was like thunder. Each punch was stronger than the last. His fists could easily destroy 10 worlds. Sun Bone was beaten back continuously. He roared and was furious. He didn't expect that he would be suppressed by Lin Ling. However, I destroyed your Grand Court Commandery and you dare to destroy my rainforest holy land. Do you want to die? Don't you know that your actions have completely infuriated me? You have no way out. Even if Emperor Qing is here, no one can stop me from killing you. Rumble. The terrifying flaming fist smashed Sun Bone into the ground. The entire ground exploded and flames soared into the sky. Even the Four-Ring City was shaken. So fierce. He's being suppressed by the 9 heavens of Qingzhou. The surrounding people gasped. Could it be that Lin Ling had the strength to become one of the 9 heavens of Qingzhou? The Azure Dragon King was also stunned. The scene in front of him was completely different from what he had imagined. He had thought that the one being suppressed should be Lin Ling. He's still so mysterious. His cultivation is at the true God realm, but his world essence is boundless. It's not weaker than a martial immortal. Who exactly is this Lin Ling? Meng Lu said in shock. He came from the 10 evils of 9 provinces and was proficient in various mysterious martial arts. However, he couldn't see through Lin Ling at all. Moreover, he had always wanted to become one of the 9 heavens of Qingzhou. However, Lin Ling had stepped into this realm faster than him. Geniuses could fight above their level. However, when a genius met a genius, fighting above their level was just wishful thinking. However, Lin Ling was still able to fight above his level when facing a genius of the heavens realm. Boom! Chapter 2890. 12-Leaf Heavenly June Flame. Do you think this is all I've got? Sun Bone roared. He activated his divine body and wanted to reverse the situation. My talent is very domineering. Although it doesn't have any mysterious effects, it can suppress all divine bodies that are of a lower level than me. Burning Moon Heavenly June Flame. Beautiful bone wings grew out of Sun Bone's back, greatly increasing his speed. His entire body was covered in a crystalline light, looking extremely sacred. At the same time, flaming leaves fell from the sky. The leaves were golden, and there were 6 of them in total. Sun Bone held them in his hand and began to devour them. Rumble. Behind him, the golden divine sun phoenix became even more dazzling. The surging power made even 3rd-level martial immortals tremble in fear. Lin Ling, be proud of yourself. You're still my opponent. After the divine sun phoenix appeared, Sun Bone turned into a brilliant light and shot towards Lin Ling, 3,000 burning moons. As soon as he attacked, the sky was filled with burning moons. It was extremely dazzling. These powerful moons all charged towards Lin Ling. Rumble. The moons completely exploded, as if they were sprinkling heavenly fire. The surroundings turned into a golden sea of fire. Moreover, a figure flew out from the sea of fire and smashed onto the ground. It was Lin Ling. As expected, Lin Ling is no match for Sun Bone. How can one of the 9 heavens of the Azure province be defeated so easily? Seeing this, the various overlords shook their heads and said. Even so, they did not feel that Lin Ling was a disgrace. After all, Lin Ling was also a rare genius of the Azure province. Ha! Seeing this, the Azure Dragon King laughed loudly. His laughter was filled with pride. After being hit by my talent, Lin Ling should be burned to death by now. Sunbone floated in the sky like a divine king. The wings behind him flapped, looking indescribably majestic. Ha, Sunbone, you should take your position as one of the 9 heavens of the Azure province yourself. This attack is too weak. However, at this moment, a maniacal laughter rang out from the ground. Under countless gazes, Lin Ling was still standing on the ground. His long hair danced in the wind, and he looked wild and unruly. Seeing this, Sunbone's pupils constricted. He had already unleashed his innate talent and used all of his strength, but Lin Ling blocked his attack and didn't die. If Lin Ling was one of the 9 heavens of the Azure state, then he would feel that it was normal. However, Lin Ling wasn't. He was just a junior. Sunbone, didn't you say that I was relying on someone powerful backing me? But now, you can't even kill me in a one-on-one fight. Lin Ling's voice floated out again, causing the Sunbone to grit its teeth. Flames surged like a tide as it attacked again. Seeing this, Lin Ling's eyes narrowed. Previously, he had blocked the Sunbone's attack, but it was actually a thankless effort. As for why he was safe and sound, that was because his god-fiend body was powerful and had resisted a large number of attacks. Another reason was his time and space divine tablet. Although his time and space fire was weaker than the Sunbone's divine body, the time and space divine tablet was stronger than the Sunbone's divine body. Therefore, the Sunbone's divine body couldn't be used at all. It could be said that the Sunbone was playing with fire in front of Lin Ling. It was useless. 8-leaf Tian Jun Yen. At this moment, flaming leaves fell from the sky again. 2 more were devoured by the Sunbone, causing his flame power to increase greatly. He charged at Lin Ling again. Rumble. Wherever he passed, the ground exploded. The entire 4-ring city was in turmoil, and countless buildings collapsed. One could imagine that if the Sunbone appeared in the myriad realms, even if he didn't attack, the aura of his attack would cause the various realms to collapse. This was the strength of the 9 heavens of the Azure province. At this moment, Lin Ling had also fused his 3rd Dantian. Unfortunately, he couldn't use the Tyrant Song sword, and his strength was suppressed. Even so, his aura wasn't weaker than the Sunbone's. Rumble. Both of them exploded with powerful strength. They didn't compete in martial arts, but in a clash of strength. To the Sunbone, his cultivation level was so much higher than Lin Ling's. If he used martial arts, it would be a thankless task instead. As for Lin Ling, he had fused his 3rd Dantian. His realm essence was huge, and he could defeat all 3 of them. Pop! 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 2 types of golden and multicolored flames rained down from the sky. This clash lasted for the time it took for an incense stick to burn. Everyone saw that the Sunbone was still helpless against Lin Ling. Impossible. My sun god's wings have the speed of 11 realms. Why aren't you slower than me? The more they fought, the more shocked the Sunbone was. This was because he realized that not only did Lin Ling have the speed of 11 realms, but he was even faster than him. Moreover, in terms of realm essence, Lin Ling wasn't weaker than him. This almost drove him crazy. At this moment, red scales appeared all over Lin Ling's body. He was like an evil flame god. The realm essence of his 3 Dantian continuously provided him with power, allowing him to continuously attack the Sunbone. Moreover, he also knew that the Sunbone was much stronger than the sect leaders of the Crimson Province. Therefore, he wasn't greedy. Using the demon eyes of all things, he used all kinds of simple realm essence martial arts to consume the sun bone bit by bit. One punch turned into 300 million punches. His body moved left and right, making it difficult for the sun bone to resist. Lin Ling. The sun bone kept roaring. His body was covered in wounds, and Lin Ling's time and space fire was burning him. He couldn't figure it out. His flames were actually ineffective against Lin Ling. All of Lin Ling's methods seemed to have eaten him. In fact, his guess wasn't wrong. If he didn't have fire talent, Lin Ling would need more time to defeat him. However, he had a talent for fire element. Of course, what he didn't know was that Lin Ling actually had a trump card that could instantly kill him. It was the time and space divine steel. However, Lin Ling didn't use it. He wanted to rely on his own strength to defeat the sun bone. Of course, although Lin Ling seemed to have won, he was still cautious. He knew that the strength of someone who could become one of the 9 heavens of Qing province was definitely not as simple as he imagined. So powerful. Even though Lin Ling was very cautious, it still made people admire him. They had a feeling that the position of one of the 9 heavens of Qing province was going to change today. In the distant sky, Vice President Gong, Dean Qin, and the others had also arrived. They all looked at the battle in front of them in surprise. Every time this guy disappears and reappears, he always surprises people. Vice President Gong said solemnly, causing Dean Qin to nod beside him. The 9 heavens of Qing province was the title of the strongest genius in Qing province. And now, Lin Ling had also stepped into this realm. As for Luo Riyao and the others, they were also shocked. They were even curious about where Lin Ling had gone. After all, they guessed that Lin Ling had disappeared for so long that he had probably been killed by the big shots of the Great Azure Divine Dynasty. But now, Lin Ling was still alive and had appeared to shock the entire city. Among everyone, only Lord Eighth and Red Jade Tiger knew of Lin Ling's whereabouts, but they also admired Lin Ling's strength. Lin Ling, that's enough. At this moment, the Sun Bone finally unleashed his trump card. He had no choice but to use it. Chapter 2891. Fight you like a dog. 12-leaf heavenly June flame. 12 mysterious flaming leaves slowly drifted down from the sky, causing heaven and earth to fall silent. It was as if these 12 leaves had been summoned from the universe. As they floated down, people sensed a terrifying power. It was like a taboo. They even suspected that if those leaves were to completely erupt, Qing state would probably be destroyed as well. It is said that the people of Tating Commandery are the descendants of God and the descendants of the bloodline of the sun. Unfortunately, for thousands of years, no one in Tating Commandery has the bloodline of the sun. Rumor has it that the Sun Bone is the most qualified person to obtain the bloodline of the sun. Now it seems that the rumor is true. The Azure Dragon King said excitedly. Since Tating Commandery could become one of the top 4 commanderies, they must have their own resources. In the primal chaos of the ancient universe, there were countless ancient bloodlines, such as the pure war god bloodline and the solar god race bloodline. According to legend, these bloodlines were left behind after the great battle between gods and humans that created the world. Lin Ling, enough is enough. 12 flaming leaves floated around the Sun Bone, causing his expression to become extremely ferocious. Then, he swallowed the flaming leaves. Ah! Yang Gu's bones started to change. Above his head, a mysterious golden phoenix appeared. It was a true god martial spirit, and its power was so strong that it made people wonder if Yang Gu had opened the second seal of his true god martial spirit. Universal force. The Sun Bone has universal force, at least 20% of it. At this moment, the various overlords exclaimed again. What a strong talent! The second seal of the true god martial spirit had been unsealed. coupled with the power of the universe. Now, Sun Bone was already an overlord of the Azure State with monstrous strength. Even the mysterious overlords of the Five-Ring City were watching the battle solemnly. One of them even said, "The Sun Bone has unleashed his full power. He has a high chance of becoming the Azure Emperor." The magnate's evaluation of the Sun Bone had increased tremendously. Ah! The screams of pain continued to ring out. Everyone watched as bones began to grow out of Sun Bone's back, piercing through his skin and transforming into a pair of bone wings. Moreover, his legs had quietly transformed into the shape of a phoenix's claws. Moreover, he had 3 claws. His entire being had begun to transform into a divine phoenix. And this was the Sun bloodline. Rather than calling it a divine phoenix, it would be better to call it a golden crow. According to legend, the Sun was the incarnation of the golden crow. The surging power caused the entire Qing province to feel extremely pressured, and the temperature rose greatly. In the faraway Third Ring City and Second Ring City, the ground started to burn without any fire, letting everyone know that a great battle had occurred in the Qing province. Lin Ling, lose. Seeing the Sun Bone's strength increase greatly, the smile on the Azure Dragon King's face became increasingly excited. Lin Ling is only at the True God realm. Lord Dean, should we make a move? Vice President Gong said worriedly. However, Qi Yuhu, who was beside him, stopped them. No, I'm familiar with Lin Ling's temperament. He wants to avenge his friend personally. Otherwise, he would have called us along when he came to Sihuan City. But, his opponent is one of the 9 heavenly emblems of Azure Province. Moreover, he possesses the Sun Bone, the Emperor's fate. Vice Principal Gong frowned. Don't worry, I have confidence in him. Qi Yuhu said slowly. Vice Principal Gong and the others smiled bitterly because they didn't have much confidence in Lin Ling. Everyone, leave the Azure Dragon Divine Residence immediately. At the same time, the overlords of Azure Province shouted loudly. They knew that the following battle would be very intense. If they got too close, they would be implicated if they didn't have the strength of a martial immortal. Yes. Many people began to retreat and watch the battle from afar. At this moment, the Sun Bone had already turned into a golden crow. He looked like a god and also like a demon. He lightly exhaled and the sky immediately lit up with flames. The Sun Bone's strength has increased greatly. Even the air he exhales has turned into golden flames. Seeing this, the crowd became even more alarmed. Lin Ling, you forced me to use the 12-leaf Profound Heaven Flame. You will definitely die. Don't you know that every time I use this trump card, I need 100 years to recover? You've wasted 100 years of my time. The Sun Bone's voice was very sharp, like the cry of a bird. He stepped out with his phoenix claws. Although it seemed very slow, it instantly appeared before Lin Ling. Huge wings with surging flames swept out. The power of the world essence within it had reached the 4th level of the martial immortal realm and 20% of the power of the universe. At this moment, the Sun Bone was clearly twice as powerful as the old monsters Lin Ling met in the Crimson Province. Lin Ling did not say a word. He merged all of his world essence and turned it into a fist to fight against the wings. Rumble. The sound of the sky collapsing and the earth cracking resounded. The sky seemed to shatter into pieces. After the collision, a figure was immediately sent flying. It was Lin Ling's figure. He smashed into the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. It seemed that he couldn't block the Sun Bone's attack at all. However, Lin Ling relaxed. He thought that the Sun Bone would be very strong since he had unsealed the 2nd seal of the true God martial spirit. However, the previous collision made him realize that the Sun Bone was only slightly stronger than him. If he used the Spacetime Divine Steel, Lin Ling was confident that he could kill his opponent. However, the Spacetime Divine Steel was Lin Ling's ultimate trump card. Therefore, he still did not plan to reveal it. Moreover, he still had two trump cards. First, the mysterious scabbard. He believed that once the scabbard was out, not to mention the sun bone, even the 9 heavens of the Green Province would not be able to block it. Second, little Kunlun. But now, Lin Ling did not plan to use any of his trump cards because he had not experienced a difficult battle for a long time. The path of martial arts was too smooth. This was not good for martial artists. Come on, Birdman. Is this all you've got? Standing up again, Lin Ling looked up and laughed loudly. As soon as his voice fell, the entire city was thunderous. The sun bone was so powerful and arrogant. Not only was Lin Ling not afraid, but he also invited him to fight again. I'll fight you like a dog. Lin Ling's voice floated out again. Go to hell. The sun bone was undoubtedly furious. The result in front of him was not what he wanted. He once again unleashed a torrential surge of power and charged towards Lin Ling. Rumble. The buildings of the Azure Dragon Manor were all burned to ashes. The surging power was not something that a 4th-level martial immortal would dare to underestimate. Lin Ling's body was sent flying. However, his defense was strong and blocked a lot of the damage. Moreover, he had the spacetime divine steel, so he was immune to fire. Therefore, after falling, he spat out a mouthful of blood and stood up. The 9 heavens of the Green Province? That's all there is to it. The sound of wild laughter drifted out in an unrestrained manner. How can this be? Why is this guy's defense so strong? Even a 4th-level martial immortal could not block my attack. What did this guy go through? Why is there so much mysterious power in his body? Looking at Lin Ling, the sun bone was a little flustered and confused. Chapter 2892. Escape. I don't believe I can't kill you. Sun Bone also knew that his 12-leaf Grand Heaven Flame had a time limit. If he didn't kill Lin Ling now, he wouldn't have another chance. Swoosh. A dazzling light fell from the sky and a huge attack landed on the ground. Boom. The entire ground turned into a volcano and a huge pit appeared in the center. Sun Bone's attack was so terrifying that it could easily destroy 100 worlds. Die, you're dead. Sun Bone floated above the huge pit and shouted ferociously. On the ground, Lin Ling spat out another mouthful of blood. Then, he realized that little Kunlun on his left arm was providing a steady stream of golden light to heal his injuries. Last time, little Kunlun had saved Huang Yinger's father by relying on this mysterious light. I forgot about little Kunlun. Although Lin Ling was seriously injured, he couldn't help but laugh. He stood up again and shouted angrily, Sun Bone, let's fight to the death. Is this all you've got? When his voice floated out, Sun Bone's eyes narrowed. Lin Ling wasn't dead yet? He felt that his power was getting weaker and weaker. He rushed to the ground like a madman. Boom! The ground exploded again as if 10,000 worlds were collapsing. The terrifying storm swept through some cultivators. Those who weren't martial immortals were all burned to death by the heat wave. Huh, Sun Bone, you're getting weaker and weaker. However, after a while, Lin Ling's voice sounded again, I'm sorry, my cultivation level has increased again. I've reached the peak of True God Realm and the one who helped me increase my cultivation level is you. When Lin Ling's last sentence floated out, the Great Azure Divine Dynasty moved. Not only did he not lose, he even used the power of Sun Bone to increase his cultivation level. Was Lin Ling a monster? Impossible. Sun Bone was going crazy. He had never fought such a terrifying battle before. That's because you're ignorant. Now, it's my turn to attack. A figure floated out from the huge pit on the ground. His body was covered in blood and his clothes were tattered. However, his long hair danced wildly and his eyes were like lightning. He raised his hand high and a terrifying flame energy spread out. Previously, Lin Ling borrowed the crazy attacks of the Sun Bone, making him reach the limit, stimulating even more potential, finally stepping into peak true God realm. In truth, Lin Ling already had the chance to step into the peak of the true immortal realm. It was just that he had broken through too quickly some time ago. This caused him to want to break through again, but there was still a veil blocking him. Thus, he borrowed the hand of the Sun Bone to pierce through this veil. Pop! Pop! In the sky, the golden flames began to disperse like clouds. A blinding ray of light appeared, smashing down like a meteor, as if summoned from the chaos of the universe. What is that? Everyone raised their heads to look at the sky, their expressions extremely solemn. This was because that beam of light gave them a very oppressive feeling, as if it was the end of the world. Flame coffin. In the distant skies, Vice Principal Gong and the others cried out in alarm. This was because they saw that the dazzling light was the flame coffin, and this was Lin Ling's famous martial art. However, in the past, the flame coffin was held in Lin Ling's hand, but now, it was falling from the sky. Moreover, they could feel the power of the universe within the flame coffin. Moreover, it's not just one. Vice Principal Qin's eyes began to tremble. Lin Ling's strength was almost catching up to hers. Heavens, it's the flame coffin falling from the sky. In truth, everyone saw the terrifying scene. In the sky, colorful flames bloomed, and countless flame coffins smashed down. It was extremely dazzling, as if it was the coffin of an ancient god. Rumble. Before it even smashed into the ground, the earth began to shake. Moreover, the golden flames from before were all extinguished at this moment. In their place, they were replaced by multicolored flames. When people looked at the sky, it was as though they were looking at a flame god from the ancient era. The huge flame god's heart continued to beat. Sun Bone, your end is here. How dare you destroy my world? You won't be able to escape even if you have wings. Lin Ling's roar sounded at the same time, shaking the heavens and the earth. Sun Bone's eyes were wide open. The flame coffins falling from the sky gave him a terrifying pressure. He felt that those flame coffins could kill a level 3 martial immortal. Was this Lin Ling's trump card? A true God Realm Junior had the ability to threaten a martial immortal? Lin Ling, it's still unknown who will be defeated and who will be a god. Sun Bone activated all of his power and turned into a golden crow, which rushed toward the flame coffins in the sky. Finally, they clashed. That's the evil flame change, a cultivation technique left behind by the flame god. I didn't expect Lin Ling to have reached the peak of the 6th transformation. According to historical records, even the flame god had to spend a long time to cultivate it. Lin Ling is only a true god. Where did he get the world essence to activate such a powerful technique? Inside the 5-ring city, all the magnates wore solemn expressions. Lin Ling's strength had clearly exceeded their expectations. Boom! Boom! At the same time, the Sun Bone and the flame coffins collided. Whether the position of the 9 heavens of the Azure province would be changed or whether Sun Bone deserved the title, it all depended on this moment. Boom! In the end, the 2 powerful forces overturned the Azure province, turning it upside down. Countless flame coffins fell to the ground, making the ancient city look like it was about to collapse. Looking at the meteors falling from the sky, falling flowers, flowing water, and the others were at a loss. Their thoughts seemed to have returned to a long time ago. At that time, Lin Ling, like them, had come to the Azure province with dreams and goals. However, when they saw the ancient city for the first time, they only felt reverence and worship. And now, one of them, Lin Ling, finally had the strength to shake the Azure province. It was as if to Lin Ling, this ancient city with endless history was nothing more than this. Sun Bone, has he been defeated? After the explosions lasted for 3 incense sticks worth of time, people regained their calmness and looked around. Under a broken city wall, they saw Sun Bone. Sun Bone was not dead, but he was clearly much weaker. You have some ability to survive under my heaven and earth change. You are indeed much more powerful than those old monsters. Lin Ling naturally saw Sun Bone too. At this moment, he said coldly and walked toward Sun Bone step by step. I'll fight you like a dog. Sun Bone, let's continue fighting. Everyone heard that heroic voice. Although they thought that Lin Ling should be very weak, they did not expect that Lin Ling's fighting spirit was still boiling. At this moment, Sun Bone also stood up. His face was pale and he spat out blood. Should he continue fighting? He was afraid. Right now, the Sun bloodline he activated was disappearing. How could he fight? I can't fight, or I'll die. If I leave, I still have a chance to rise again. Sun Bone's eyes kept flickering as he hurriedly fled in another direction. This guy is really going to run away. In 5 Ring City, several young men said indifferently. They were the 9 heavens of the Azure province, so they knew Sun Bone's personality very well. Chapter 2893. The Tyrannical Lin Ling. That Qing province's 9 great heavens laughed. His laughter was filled with pride and joy. That was indeed the case. How could Lin Ling escape with the Sun Bone? Countless lives in the rainforest sacred land are watching you. You can't escape. At this moment, Lin Ling leaped out and chased after the Sun Bone like the Azure the Arch. Bastard, are you still trying to silence me? How can I let you do whatever you want in my territory? However, at this moment, a roar suddenly sounded, causing the sky to tremble. A dragon soared into the sky and covered the sun. The bloodline of the dragon ancestor was roaring. This person was obviously the Azure Dragon King. He was also shocked by Lin Ling's strength. However, he knew that this was the best opportunity. If he didn't kill Lin Ling now, he wouldn't have any more chances. Azure Dragon King, how dare you? In the distance, Vice Principal Gong and the others didn't expect the Azure Dragon King to attack Lin Ling. Lin Ling was in danger. Get lost. However, under the gazes of the crowd, Lin Ling was arrogant and unruly. He was not afraid in the face of the Lord of 4 Ring City. He extended his left hand and a vine grew wildly. It turned into a huge whip and ruthlessly lashed at the Azure Dragon King. On the other hand, the Azure Dragon King had already transformed into an incomparably huge primordial dragon. However, his dragon shadow actually turned illusory after being whipped. Rumble. Finally, he crashed to the ground. Oh my God! Such a scene had undoubtedly frightened all the overlords of Qing Prefecture. The Azure Dragon King, the 4 Ring City Lord, was undoubtedly strong. He wasn't someone Lin Ling could fight against. However, such an ancient overlord was sent flying. Today, even gods and demons couldn't stop Lin Ling. How is this possible? At this moment, the Azure Dragon was rolling on the ground and crying out in shock. He realized that the whip didn't deal any fatal damage to him. However, it brought out his dragon bloodline. It was terrifying. Why is this Lin Ling so scary? Sun Bone also saw what was happening behind him. He was like a cicada in winter as he frantically fled. Unfortunately, he was not faster than Lin Ling. Save me, whoever saves me, I will hand over my son of heaven fate. He could only look up to the sky and roar, trying to grasp at the last straw of hope. Then let me save you. Your son of heaven fate belongs to me. Finally, a voice rang out and appeared in front of Sun Bone. This was a man who looked like an emperor. He was wearing a gold and black robe, and his aura was wild and unruly. He was the sovereign marquis. His gaze was fixed on Lin Ling, who was shooting over from afar. His expression was extremely grave. This was because he had never expected that Lin Ling would possess the strength of one of the 9 great heavens of Qingzhou. No one can stop me from avenging my family. However, at this moment, dark clouds rolled in the sky, and a huge white bone giant descended. It was like the skeleton king of the underworld. Moreover, a terrifying white bone fist also blasted towards the sovereign marquis, causing the latter to frown because he realized that the person who attacked was not weak. It was also one of the 9 heavens of the Qing province. Who are you? The sovereign marquis frowned. He didn't know who was helping Lin Ling. I am the Sakra. In the sky, the white bone skeleton king's voice was extremely low, but it was filled with endless pride. Boom! The sovereign marquis unleashed a powerful force that collided with the white bone fist, but his expression was extremely ugly. He knew that he wouldn't be able to protect Sun Bone today. That was because Lin Ling still had more powerhouses who hadn't made a move. While the sovereign marquis was entangled by the white bone giant, Lin Ling had already walked toward Sun Bone. The latter's face was as pale as paper. Today was the day he became famous in Qingzhou because his son of heaven fate required reverence. That was why he had caused such a big commotion. However, who knew that not only did he not obtain any reverence, but he had also lost all face. Sun Bone, you destroyed my world? Lin Ling had already appeared in front of Sun Bone and punched out. Although he was as weak as Sun Bone, his physical body was powerful. The power of 500,000 universes was not something that Sun Bone could withstand. This was also the benefit of cultivating essence, qi, and spirit. Bang! Blood splattered everywhere, and Sun Bone's right arm was directly broken. He flew out and landed on the ground. He wanted to say something, but his mouth was full of blood, so he couldn't say anything. Lin Ling arrived again and stepped on his left arm. Destroy my world? You're provoking the Taisui Lord. His eyes were red, and he was about to devour someone. The murderers who caused the death of the rainforest's holy land were subdued one by one. They thought that they could escape to the ends of the earth because Lin Ling didn't dare to fight back. This was a dream. Lin Ling, they are all dead. Haha, they are all dead. You must be in pain. Sun Bone's arms were broken, and he roared at this moment. Bang! Lin Ling broke his legs again. Although they are dead, I, Lin Ling, will find their souls and restore all their memories on the day that I, Lin Ling, rule the 9 provinces. You want me to suffer and live in sorrow in the future. You are wrong. You. Sun Bone immediately roared. Lin Ling was so ambitious that he dared to violate the universe's laws and forcefully save people. My world is not something you can understand. Lin Ling sneered. With a twitch of his brows, little Kunlun appeared and ruthlessly lashed at Sun Bone. After hundreds of lashes, Sun Bone's sun bloodline was pulled out alive. A golden divine crow phantom floated in the sky. My innate gift. Sun Bone immediately shouted. Although his limbs were broken, as long as he had his innate gift, he would recover to his peak sooner or later. But now, his innate gift was also beaten out by Lin Ling? Fire element innate gift. It seems that I have to thank you. My current fire element innate gift is 5th grade. With your innate gift, my spacetime flame should be greatly improved. Lin Ling's sneer deepened. Under Sun Bone's pained gaze, he held his innate gift in his hand and collected it. No. Sun Bone immediately felt like his heart was being cut by a knife. You regret it, don't you? Sun Bone, you had a chance to live, but you destroyed my world. Do you know what you're doing? Do you know who you can't afford to provoke? Now, you're going to live a life worse than death. Lin Ling waved his left hand, and little Kunlun tied up Sun Bone. Then, he dragged Sun Bone away from the Azure Dragon Divine Mansion. "Big brother, there's no need to fight with him. If he dares to cause trouble, we'll kill him tomorrow." When he left, Lin Ling's gaze looked at the white bone giant again, causing the Sovereign Marquis's expression to change slightly. He didn't dare to fight and quickly left. The current Lin Ling was no longer the Lin Ling of the past. Coupled with the 9 heavens of Qingzhou, if the two of them joined forces, even the Sovereign Marquis wouldn't dare to be arrogant. Lord Lin Ling is really domineering. Even the Sovereign Marquis is afraid of him. Seeing the Sovereign Marquis disappear, falling flowers, flowing water, and the others said in shock. In the past, when they first went to Tating Commandery, the Sovereign Marquis appeared and forced Lin Ling to compromise and hand over Queen Xianji like a god. But now, Lin Ling's words made the Sovereign Marquis afraid. This kind of thing was like a river flowing east for 30 years, and 30 years going west for 30 years. What the Sovereign Marquis gave to Lin Ling also returned to him. Azure Dragon King, Lin Ling, will remember what happened today. I'll visit you again in the future. Chapter 2894. Seeking the Son of Heaven's Mandate. Hearing those cold words, the entire Azure Dragon Divine Manor felt as if they were facing a great enemy. No one dared to look Lin Ling in the eye. They were completely afraid of the 9 great heavens of Azure State. As for the geniuses from the Resplendent Academy, their faces were filled with admiration and reverence. The entire Azure State watched as Lin Ling dragged the Sun Bone as if he was dragging a dog as he left Azure State. This guy dares to treat the 9 great heavens of Azure State like this. Now, he has taken the Sun Bone's position and become one of the 9 great heavens of Azure State. Vice Principal Gong, Luo Riyao, and the others stared at Lin Ling. None of them had helped Lin Ling in his mission, but they had never thought that Lin Ling would succeed. He was able to fight against 4 divine dwellings by himself. "Second brother, wait for me," Sakura shouted and chased after Lin Ling. He was also a member of the sacred ground of the rainforest, so he was qualified to help. The 2 brothers disappeared from Azure State, and no one dared to stop them. The great Azure Divine Dynasty was also shaken. All the magnates felt that a new star was rising, and he had become one of the 9 most dazzling stars in Azure State. In the chaotic universe, Lin Ling and Sakura walked side by side towards the sacred ground of the rainforest. "Big brother, you're one of the 9 great heavens of Azure State?" Lin Ling said in surprise. He knew that Sakura was strong, but he did not expect him to be one of the 9 great heavens of Azure State. I wanted to tell you earlier, but you went missing some time ago, so I didn't have the time to tell you." Sakura laughed. However, Lin Ling felt warmth in his heart. Big brother did not want him to feel pressured, so he didn't say it. Then, Lin Ling said, "The sacred ground of the rainforest has 2 enemies, one is the Divine Empress of the Great Azure Divine Dynasty, the other is Luo Xiaofan. Luo Xiaofan is missing, he obviously doesn't dare to face you." Sakura immediately said, "Damn, that bastard is cunning. Don't worry, as long as he's in Azure State, he won't be able to escape." Lin Ling shook his head, not minding it at all. A moment later, Lin Ling and the young man landed in the rainforest's sacred land. Lin Ling once again laid down a barrier, using the power of heaven and earth to seal the Sun Bone, turning it into a stone tablet, enduring this torment for all eternity. "Alright, how can we let them off so easily after killing the people of the rainforest Holy Land? Let them worship the dead commoners." Seeing the miserable state of the Sun Bone and Realgar, Sakura couldn't help but be overjoyed. At this moment, in the rainforest sacred land, 2 gigantic stone tablets sat on the ground, surrounded by a large number of enchantments, causing the stone tablets to kneel there like sinners. Not too long later, Vice School Head Gong and the others arrived as well. Upon seeing the sight before them, they couldn't help but gasp in shock. Lin Ling was really generous. One of the stone steels is the sun bone. Only Lin Ling is capable of using the 9 great heavens of the Azure province as a stone steels to consecrate others. Who is the other stone tablet? It's Realgar. Chi Yuhu explained to everyone. As soon as he finished speaking, Vice School Head Qin pondered for a moment, then her expression changed drastically. Because she was very familiar with the Empress Dowager, she knew that the Realgar was the Empress Dowager's favorite. Lin Ling dared to capture the Empress Dowager's people. This Lin Ling was even bolder than she imagined. At this moment, a large number of people appeared in the sky. They looked at the ground, their faces full of shock. Among them, a short old man said indifferently, "Lin Ling, where is the sun-bone son of heaven's mandate? Hand it over." This old man's strength was monstrous, and his voice was sharp. With one look, one could tell that he wasn't an ordinary person. Moreover, there were countless experts in the rainforest sacred land, and he dared to ignore their arrival, which meant that he was definitely a big shot in the Great Azure Divine Dynasty. Eunuch Ju. Vice School Head Qin recognized the latter. Qin Suizan, your academy has indeed produced an outstanding talent, daring to capture the Empress Dowager's people. The old man said sarcastically. Humph, Eunuch Ju, this is someone else's family feud, how can an outsider interfere? I'm afraid that even the Empress Dowager can't. Vice School Head Qin snorted coldly, not afraid of the old man. I know that too, so the Great Azure Divine Dynasty doesn't care about Lin Ling's mistake, but he must hand over the Son of Heaven's mandate. The old man replied indifferently. In fact, if Lin Ling was an ordinary person, he would have already attacked today. However, Lin Ling was now one of the 9 heavens of Qingzhou, and his backing was the imperial court, so he didn't dare to act rashly. As for the Son of Heaven's mandate, it was the sun bone. Now that it was captured by Lin Ling, then the Son of Heaven's mandate must be with Lin Ling. Most importantly, the Son of Heaven's mandate could allow one to become the Azure the Arch, so no one would give it up. After all, there were only 24 such opportunities. No, the imperial court took it. Lin Ling looked at the old man indifferently and said. Impossible, you just captured the sun bone, how can you hand it over to the imperial court? Hearing that, the old man's expression changed slightly. Big brother, didn't an old woman come earlier? She asked us for the Son of Heaven's mandate and then told us that if we didn't hand it over, we would have to bear the consequences. Lin Ling smiled coldly and said to Sakura. Old woman? Sakura's eyes flashed. Could it be that Lin Ling was talking about Grandma Wendao? He smiled bitterly and quickly said, that's right, it's a very fierce old woman. We can't afford to offend her, so we could only give the Son of Heaven's mandate to her. Old woman? The short old man's expression changed again. Could it be her? He naturally knew who the old woman was. She should be the mastermind behind the imperial court, that mysterious Grandma Wendao. Why did you give it to her? Yes. The old man was clearly furious. She's very strong. If we don't give it to her, she'll kill us. Since you're so strong, why don't you ask her yourself? Lin Ling said. You're from the imperial court, how can she kill you? Rage. However, Lin Ling smiled calmly, how would I know that she's from the imperial court? Moreover, even if I'm from the imperial court, will she give me face? Okay, I've said what I need to say. Go back and tell the Empress Dowager that if she wants the Son of Heaven's mandate, she can ask that old woman for it. Rage. You. Rage. The old man was so angry that his beard was blown up. However, he believed Lin Ling's words. After all, the mastermind behind the imperial court was a secret in Qingzhou. Although Lin Ling was from the imperial court, he might not have the right to know that person. Are you still not going to scram? Don't think that you are amazing just because you are from the Empress Dowager. You dare to do whatever you want in my territory. If I kill you, the Empress Dowager won't dare to say anything. Rage. Lin Ling's smile disappeared and his expression turned cold. The old man gritted his teeth. Lin Ling, you are really vicious. Let's go. Go. In the end, he could only bring everyone away. This was because if he could bring back the Son of Heaven's mandate, then the Empress Dowager would definitely support him. But now that the Son of Heaven's mandate was taken away by someone else, if he didn't leave, it would be the same as provoking Lin Ling. The current Lin Ling wasn't so easy to offend. Maybe the Empress Dowager would sacrifice him for Lin Ling. Scram. Scram. Chapter 2895. Talent Improvement. Luo Riyao and the other seniors shook their heads helplessly. They also noticed that Lin Ling's wings had grown bigger. In the past, they all protected Lin Ling. Now, they probably needed Lin Ling's protection. After that, the seniors did not stay. They bid farewell to Lin Ling and left one after another. Lin Ling and Sakura also began to pay their respects to the people of the Rainforest Holy Land. Lin Ling's eyes flickered. He secretly swore that when he ruled over the 9 states, he would find all the people of the Rainforest Holy Land. Although those people might have reincarnated, as long as Lin Ling found their memories, they would be able to return to their past. Empress Dowager, Sakura, will step on you one day. After Sakura knelt down to the ground, his eyes were red. His third brother, the old sword elder and the others were all dead. This enmity was absolutely irreconcilable. Let's go back. After Lin Ling paid his respects, he brought Sakura to the Flame World Fragment. Until now, he still did not plan to let his grandfather and the others return. Although he was famous in the Qing state, there were many people in the Great Azure Divine Dynasty who were more powerful than him. Big brother, this Son of Heaven's fate is yours. On the way, Lin Ling took out Sunbone Son of Heaven's fate. Hee, I knew you were hiding it. Sakura laughed and was not pretentious. After taking the Son of Heaven's fate, there was no need to be polite between him and Lin Ling. What does this Son of Heaven's fate seek? After that, Sakura found that the Son of Heaven's fate in his hand was still in the state of fragments. There were no signs of the Azure Emperor's Imperial Jade Seal. Lin Ling also took out his fragment. However, 2/3 of it had turned into the state of the Azure Emperor's Imperial Jade Seal. This made Sakura's pupils constrict. This difference was too big. It could only be said that Sunbone was useless. He had a treasure but could not achieve anything. The Son of Heaven's fate in your hand is to look up to and worship. Lin Ling explained. Hearing this, Sakura smiled bitterly. The conditions required for the Son of Heaven's mandate were too troublesome. He didn't even know how to make others worship him. Sometimes, if you want others to worship you, you don't necessarily need to rely on great principles, just your fists will do. Lin Ling said with a smile, which made Sakura's eyes brighten. That's right, great strength can create miracles, don't worship me? Then I'll beat you until you worship me. Compared to mine, your fate of the Son of Heaven is much simpler. Lin Ling looked at his Son of Heaven's fate and shook his head helplessly. His fate was slaughter. During this period of time, he had killed many people, and they were all great characters. This caused his Son of Heaven's fate to undergo a great transformation. A long time later, the two arrived at the Flame World Fragment. Yu and the others saw Lin Ling and the others and were overjoyed. Lin Ling also roughly explained what had happened during this period of time. This caused Ancestor Extreme Flame and the others to hate the Empress Dowager to death. This was because the latter had destroyed the Rainforest Sacred Land for the sake of the Emperor's order. Different from Lin Ling's destruction of the country, the Empress Dowager had no enmity with the Rainforest Sacred Land. Don't worry, it won't be long before I personally take revenge. Lin Ling comforted everyone. Then, he took out the treasures he had obtained in the Crimson State and distributed them to everyone. That night, Lin Ling accompanied his family and reminisced about the past. In the dead of the night, he began to cultivate. A golden crow appeared in his hand. This bird's spirit was dispirited, as if it would disappear at any moment. This was the talent of the Sun Bone. Lin Ling hurriedly used the Chaos Divine Art to refine the golden crow. Moments later, a golden flame appeared in Lin Ling's dantian. At first, it was extremely arrogant, but under the suppression of the spacetime divine steel, it gradually dimmed and transformed into a multicolored flame. As for the spacetime fire, it had also transformed and was moving towards the ultimate. The spacetime fire's ultimate goal was the 10th grade divine body, and now it had reached the 7th grade. As for the spacetime divine steel, it was even more powerful. It was the ultimate desolate body level. Even in the land of the 9 states, it was a top-notch talent body. Little Kunlun is really powerful. It can even use the Azure Dragon King's talent. Although it can't deal any damage, it can greatly reduce the opponent's combat strength. After refining the golden crow, Lin Ling looked at the vine wrapped around his left arm. He realized that a portion of the originally emerald green vine had turned black. Even if Li Xiaoyao was still alive, he couldn't see through little Kunlun's origins. Moreover, when he thought of the scene of him seizing the Azure Thearka's jade seal, he felt that it was left behind by a god. Could there be a world of gods above the land of the 9 states? Shaking his head, this was just Lin Ling's guess. Moreover, it was still too far away, so he didn't think too much about it. Currently, he knew that little Kunlun had 2 main functions. First, it could use talent. Second, it could heal injuries. Of course, little Kunlun could also bind people, but it had to be in a weakened state. Kunlun. Sensing that Lin Ling was watching, the vine let out a childish voice that sounded like a child's. This little guy. Lin Ling shook his head helplessly. Then, he started cultivating again. A month later, Lin Ling came out of seclusion. He was in high spirits. He came to the main hall of the Evil Flame sect. Everyone was there. They couldn't help but smile when they saw Lin Ling. Sakura even strode over and said, "Second brother, you're finally out of seclusion. TSK, looking at you, your strength has greatly increased again." Hearing that, Lin Ling nodded. He was currently at the peak of the true god realm. However, with his various trump cards, he could defeat a level 3 martial immortal realm ancient martial artist. Of course, it was very difficult for him to defeat geniuses. For example, the 9 heavenly talents of the Azure State. The last time he defeated Sun Bone, the latter was at the level 2 martial immortal realm. When he unleashed his full strength, he could defeat a large number of level 4 martial immortals. If Sun Bone was at the level 3 martial immortal realm, Lin Ling would at most be on par with him. Geniuses, especially geniuses at the heavenly talents level, could not be measured by common sense. This time, Sakura did not hide his strength in front of Lin Ling. He realized that his big brother was stronger than Sun Bone. "Big brother, are there strong and weak heavenly talents in Qingzhou?" Lin Ling asked curiously. Sakura nodded. "Indeed, in Qingzhou, the more famous the 9 heavenly talents are, the weaker they are. Vice versa. Even I don't know the identities of all the heavenly talents. The hidden ones are undoubtedly the most powerful." Hearing that, Lin Ling couldn't help but gasp. Currently, he knew of the heavenly talents, Sakura, Sun Bone, Luo Shathorn, and a great change ape that he had met once. Including himself, there were at least 4 people that he had never met. Lin Ling had a feeling that those 4 people definitely had the Emperor's fate. "By the way, Grandma Wen Dao told me that if you wake up, you must go to her place," Sakura said again, which made Lin Ling nod his head. That night, Lin Ling did not go to Qingzhou. Instead, he accompanied his family and guided Lin Yi in martial arts, allowing him to enter the World King realm. After that, Lin Ling also entered a state of cultivation. So far, he had many trump cards, but the scabbard was the only one he could not see through. Chapter 2896. The Eight Gods' Heavenly Palace opened again. What's the origin of this scabbard? Back then in the Scarlet Province, it killed a peak martial immortal expert with one strike. Lin Ling took out the scabbard and slowly touched it. His soul power also spread out and enveloped the scabbard. However, the scabbard's aura was very cold, like a demon, showing off its sharpness. Bang! Lin Ling's expression changed and the scabbard in his hand fell to the ground. He frowned. From the scabbard, he actually felt a sense of danger. That terrifying demon sword intent actually wanted to kill him. Although this thing is strong, it's very dangerous to carry it around. Who knows, it might even kill me one day. Lin Ling shook his head helplessly. However, there was nothing he could do. The mysterious headless old man was pestering him and he couldn't get rid of him. The night quietly passed. The next day, Lin Ling and Sakura went to the Azure Province to find Grandma Wendao. After arriving at the Azure Province, there were still not many people who knew Lin Ling. However, in the streets and alleys, powerful cultivators were talking. Lin Ling, I'm afraid he's become one of the 9 heavens of the Azure Province. Definitely. Lin Ling came from the Resplendent Academy and is a rising genius. I didn't expect that in less than 1,000 years, he would become one of the 9 heavens of the Azure Province. More than 1,000 years, I'm afraid even 500 years won't be enough. Whether it was the old monsters of the Azure Province or the young outstanding geniuses, they were all discussing Lin Ling's name. Second brother, now you can be considered to be famous in the Azure Province. Sakura and Lin Ling walked side by side. He smiled at Lin Ling. This made Lin Ling shake his head. He didn't expect him to be so famous now. The two of them arrived at the 5-Ring City and appeared in the territory of the Jiang family in the Tianzhou Great World. When the geniuses of the Jiang family saw Lin Ling, they were all in awe. In the past, when Lin Ling first came here, they didn't accept Lin Ling and were beaten like dogs. But today, after they found out that Lin Ling had become one of the 9 heavens of Qing Province, not only were they convinced, they even treated Lin Ling as an existence similar to Dao seeking grandma. Lin Ling didn't say much and continued forward with Sakura, once again arriving at the peak of the mountain. Over there, the beautiful maidservant in a white dress was still pouring tea. Grandma Wendao and the 3rd princess were sitting there. When they saw Lin Ling, Grandma Wendao was the first to rush over. She opened her arms wide like a child wanting to hug Lin Ling. Lin Ling smiled bitterly and dodged Grandma Wendao. Shaoli, you don't love me anymore. Grandma Wendao immediately showed an aggrieved expression. Grandma, don't play with me. What's the matter? Lin Ling shrugged helplessly. It's like this. I wonder if Your Excellency Lin Ling has heard of the 8 Gods' Heavenly Palace. However, before Grandma Wendao spoke, the 3rd princess spoke first. Her expression was still cold, but compared to the past, her attitude was not as cold and arrogant. Clearly, after Lin Ling became one of the 9 heavens of Qing Province, she also recognized Lin Ling's status. 8 Gods' Heavenly Palace. Hearing this, Lin Ling's eyes lit up. Yes, this is a secret ground of the 9 province. Someone found this secret ground, but our Qing province was the first to arrive. Therefore, the great Azure Divine Dynasty has decided to send the 4 magnates to the 8 Gods' Heavenly Palace. The 3rd princess said. This place, I definitely can't miss it. Lin Ling couldn't help but smile. In the past, Li Xiaoyao had been to the 8 Gods' Heavenly Palace and knew that there were countless treasures inside. Unfortunately, his strength was limited and he still hadn't reached the 9th floor. Now, it was time for him to explore. Don't underestimate the 8 gods' heavenly palace. According to legend, it was left behind by the 8 gods. The third princess thought that Lin Ling didn't know about the 8 gods' heavenly palace, so she said solemnly. However, Lin Ling didn't comment. In terms of familiarity with the 8 gods' heavenly palace, few people in the Qing province could compare to him. Third princess, if you want to find that thing, I'm afraid you'll have to ask Xiaoli this time. Grandma Wendao suddenly said, causing the third princess to frown. Lin Ling was very powerful, but the 8 gods' heavenly palace was a place where even peak martial immortals didn't dare to behave atrociously. What she wanted to find, how could Lin Ling find it? Thinking of this, the third princess revealed a disdainful smile. However, she still said politely, since Grandma said so, then I'll have to trouble your excellency Lin Ling. Lin Ling could tell that her words were insincere. However, Lin Ling didn't mind. Third princess, what do you think of my proposal last time? How about taking Lin Ling as your master? Grandma Wendao suddenly said. After those words, Lin Ling's eyes narrowed. She wanted him to take the third princess as his disciple? He immediately shook his head, no. Almost at the same time, the third princess also said, no. Then, the two of them looked at each other. From Lin Ling's point of view, he took disciples based on impressions. However, the third princess didn't leave a good impression on him. She was too arrogant. To the third princess, Lin Ling wasn't qualified to be her master. He wasn't qualified at all. You have a tacit understanding. However, Grandma believes that you'll change your mind. Grandma Wendao said as if the world wasn't in chaos. Then, she went back to the main topic. This time, the Great Azure Divine Dynasty's 4 giants are going to the 8 gods' heavenly palace. Moreover, they're not enemies but friends. They're going to find the secret of the 8 gods' heavenly palace together. Moreover, they're going to set off tomorrow. Lin Ling's expression changed slightly. Could it be that all the experts of the Great Azure Divine Dynasty were going to set off? Alright, go and make your preparations. Grandma Wendao didn't explain anything and let Lin Ling and Sakura prepare. The next day, everyone in the imperial court set off. Lin Ling saw that there were countless experts in the imperial court. It seemed that all the old monsters in the myriad worlds had returned at this moment. He saw a few experts at the peak of the martial immortal realm. It seemed that the imperial court's foundation was indeed deep. However, he didn't see Grandma Wendao. Instead, he saw that the imperial court was led by the third princess. This is the supreme heavenly fate. His words are equivalent to my words. Everyone in the imperial court has to listen to his orders. This is Feng Liangya. It's the same for him. This is Lin Ling. His position is the same as theirs. The third princess was dressed as a man, making others think that she was the third prince. However, she spoke to the people of the imperial court, causing them to nod their heads. Those old monsters who returned from the myriad worlds looked at Lin Ling in surprise. Because Lin Ling was only at the peak of the true immortal realm. How could he have such authority? He's one of the 9 heavens of the Azure State. After the third princess's explanation, the old monsters looked at Lin Ling differently. They were no longer arrogant. Instead, they recognized Lin Ling's identity. Then, the people of the imperial court set off and arrived at the Great Azure Divine Dynasty's palace. At this moment, there was a sea of people. There were 10-meter-tall giants, Qilans, and even purple-skinned people with 6 pairs of wings. Of course, there were also martial artists who looked like humans. These people were extremely powerful. Obviously, they were the experts of the other 3 magnates. It could be seen that the 8 gods' heavenly palace had opened again. All the experts of the four magnates had returned and gathered in the palace. Chapter 2897. Plotting against Lin Ling. Lin Ling didn't see the other four mysterious geniuses, but he believed that the top geniuses of Qing Prefecture should be hidden in the crowd. Although Lin Ling had the 10,000 demonic eyes, there were too many experts here, and he didn't know who were the most terrifying experts in Qing Prefecture. Alright, everyone has come as promised. Let's go. Remember, the four of us are friends, not enemies. Don't fight among yourselves. The left minister of the left minister's residence walked out and said, making everyone nod. Of course, everyone knew that this peace was only temporary, or at least on the surface. Everyone set off, causing the clouds in the sky of Qing Prefecture to roll. There was the black tortoise. There was the green dragon tail whip. There was also an ancient cauldron streaking across the sky. On top of these terrifying monsters, a large number of experts stood there, causing all the experts in Qing Prefecture to look solemn, their eyes filled with worship. Because the people in their eyes were the top experts of Qing Prefecture. Everyone also looked forward to the day when they could be like those top experts and soar in the sky of Qing Prefecture. As for Sakura, Xian Linglong, Meng Lu, and the rest, they all sat on a huge merciful voyage dark goose and followed the crowd. Beside the black and white goose, Lin Ling rode on the stepping fire Qilin and also followed. However, among the countless experts in front, Lin Ling sensed killing intent, but it disappeared very quickly, so he didn't know who it was. Of course, Lin Ling had many enemies now. There was the Azure Dragon King, the Thunder Manor, the Sovereign Marquis, and there were also people from the left minister's residence who wanted to kill him, so he didn't find it strange. This time, they arrived at an ordinary realm in the myriad worlds. Everyone landed. Those who are not important in this world, leave. A voice that seemed like the might of the heavens rang out, chasing away the martial artists of this world. The 8 gods' heavenly palace only belonged to the strongest experts in Qing Prefecture. How could ordinary people get a share of it? Why waste time talking with them? Just kill them. An old monster laughed sinisterly. His arms were very long, reaching the ground, and his entire person was like a baboon. Who knew what kind of talent he had to be so strange? No. However, there were still some people among the four magnates who objected. Let them go. Now, open the 8 gods' heavenly palace. Another voice rang out, and a large number of experts laid out a barrier, enveloping this realm. Then, the earth rumbled, and a mysterious ancient pagoda slowly rose up. The 8 gods' heavenly palace floated in the void of the universe all year round. Very few people were able to encounter it, and those who encountered it would not give up on this mystic realm. 8 gods' heavenly palace. Lin Ling, on the other hand, looked at the familiar giant tower. Now that he thought about it, this was his 3rd time entering it. 8 gods' heavenly palace, the dead enter, the living flee. Outside the tower, the threatening stone tablet was still there. However, the people who had arrived at the 8 gods' heavenly palace this time were much stronger than the last time, so no one feared the warning of the stone tablet. Without any hesitation, everyone stepped into the giant tower with anticipation. The first level was still filled with meteors. Rocks were floating in the void. This was the time and space of meteors. Rumble. Just as everyone entered, many people were immediately killed by the meteors. Of course, the true experts were extremely powerful. They could destroy the meteors with a single punch. TSK, compared to the last time, the people entering the 8 gods' heavenly palace this time are even more ferocious. Looking at the endless crowd in the starry sky, Lin Ling shook his head and laughed. If he remembered correctly, the last time they entered, everyone was chased by the meteors. Yes, the last time, you were the guide. In the distance, a figure walked over. It was Luo Riyao and a few others. The last time, it was Luo Riyao who had entered the Eight Gods' heavenly palace with Lin Ling and the others. At that time, Lin Ling was still the weakest martial artist. But now, Lin Ling was already a great figure that could not be underestimated in the Qing province. Be careful, meteors. Suddenly, someone shouted at Lin Ling. But just as his words fell, Lin Ling had already attacked. Surging boundary essence erupted, and a fist exploded that meteor. This action also attracted the attention of the crowd. Many of them looked over with complicated gazes. This is Lin Ling of the 9 heavens of the Qing province? You have some strength, but you're only at the true immortal realm. You're weaker than I thought. A sarcastic voice suddenly sounded. A skinny young man looked at Lin Ling and said, "Second brother, this is the 76th prince, Qing Qiyu. He's at the 3rd level of the martial immortal realm. He's arrogant because of his high cultivation. He doesn't put the 9 heavens in his eyes. Rumor has it that if he wants to be one of the 9 heavens, the other heavens are nothing." At this time, Sakura said, "Moreover, the son of Emperor Qing can't be one of the 9 heavens. This is the rule." Luo Riyao said. Lin Ling nodded. But in the next moment, his expression changed slightly. This was because a meteor was shooting over from afar. It was extremely dazzling in the starry sky. Most importantly, this meteor was bigger than the previous ones. Moreover, Lin Ling saw that it was the 76th prince, Qing Qiyu, who had attacked him. The meteor was obviously aimed at Qing Qiyu, but the latter had lured the meteor to his side. "Your Highness, are you all right?" A man with a face full of pimples said worriedly to the 76th prince. "I'm fine. It was very dangerous just now. Fortunately, I reacted quickly," the 76th prince said calmly. The conversation between the two seemed to be telling the crowd that the 76th prince couldn't react in time when a meteor was shooting over. Therefore, the meteor was aimed at Lin Ling's side by mistake. Of course, only a fool would be fooled by such a statement. "Bastard!" Sakura was the first to curse. He stretched out his fist and the dark chi rolled. It turned into a giant white bone fist and blasted toward the meteor. Boom! The meteor exploded in an instant. However, there were quite a number of meteors that shot towards Lin Ling. On the other side, another meteor appeared. "Sorry, I didn't do it on purpose." The 76th Crown Prince even let out a helpless sigh. It was obvious that he was the one who had blasted the meteor at Lin Ling. This time, Sunset Glory and the rest all attacked. However, everyone seemed to be secretly targeting Lin Ling. After Sunset Glory and the rest attacked, there were still meteors shooting toward Lin Ling. There were as many as 5 of them. Even Wuxia didn't dare to face these meteors lightly, let alone 5 of them. Sakura and the rest were instantly furious. Was the 76th prince deliberately looking for trouble? Lin Ling didn't have time to think. His 3 dantians emerged and the evil flame transformation erupted. He turned into the evil flame god and fought against the 5 meteors. Rumble. The starry sky suddenly shook. Regardless of whether it was the people in the distance or the people nearby, they all frowned at Lin Ling. Obviously, they had all heard of Lin Ling's name, but they wanted to see if Lin Ling had the strength to do so. "Don't tell me he's dead," the 76th prince said faintly. His tone was mixed with gloating. Chapter 2898. I didn't do it on purpose. Boom! Boom! However, the starry sky exploded, and shattered rocks flew in all directions. A man with colorful flames all over his body walked out from within, and he seemed to be safe and sound. He was Lin Ling. "You have some skills." Seeing this, the 76th prince frowned slightly, then smiled and said, "Your Excellency Lin Ling, I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose." Yes, in this mysterious starry sky, no one can control it, so it was an accident. The other magnates chimed in as well. "Lin Ling, don't be impulsive." The third princess knew that Lin Ling was probably furious, and she was too. However, the bigger picture was more important. If Lin Ling and the other magnates fought, it would be extremely disadvantageous to the imperial court. Hearing this, Lin Ling shot forward without saying a word. Is he crazy? That should be the case. He was plotted against but couldn't fight back. He must be in a bad mood. Serves you right. Many experts laughed secretly when they saw this. They knew that Lin Ling was a figure that couldn't be underestimated. However, all the experts of Pine Prefecture were gathered here, so they weren't really afraid of Lin Ling. What the hell is he doing? The third princess frowned. Look ahead. At that moment, someone pointed in front of them in shock. That was because light had appeared in front of them. It was boundless light, and the light had turned into a huge snake. Could it be a meteor-flowing snake? Luo Riyao exclaimed. He had been here before, so he knew that the falling meteor snake was the divine beast guarding this place. This was a divine snake formed from light. Although it was not strong enough to kill them, it was an immortal existence. Most importantly, the snake was charging towards them. And in front of the snake of light, there was a flaming figure. It seemed to be Lin Ling. More importantly, the falling meteor-flowing snake was chasing Lin Ling, but Lin Ling was running towards the 76th prince. This time, the 76th prince's expression changed drastically. This was his first time here, so he didn't know what kind of existence that huge light snake was. However, he knew that Lin Ling had provoked that scourge to come to his side. Hold him back. At that moment, Lin Ling sneered and let out a low shout. Boom! The giant snake of light gave up on Lin Ling and charged towards the 76th prince. Motherfucker! The 76th crown prince let out an angry roar. That strange snake was obviously chasing after Lin Ling, but why did it suddenly chase after him? He did not offend that strange snake. Bang 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 bang. Pop. Unfortunately, the falling meteor-flowing snake did not care about his explanation at all. It continued to entangle him and explode with a powerful force. Of course, the 76th prince was not weak. After expending a lot of effort, he finally killed the falling meteor-flowing snake. Of course, the snake was immortal. It was just reborn in another place. Lin Ling, you're courting death. After killing the snake of light, the 76th prince did not feel proud. Instead, he was furious. Are you the 72nd prince or the 75th prince? Forget it, you're just a 70-year-old prince. I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. Lin Ling replied calmly as he floated in the sky. This was an eye for an eye. Anyone who wasn't a fool would know that Lin Ling was scheming against the 76th prince. Moreover, Lin Ling had not been in a sorry state when he destroyed the 5 meteors. However, the 76th prince was facing a divine beast of the falling meteor space, so he was in a sorry state. With such a comparison, the 76th prince was obviously at a disadvantage. You're courting death. The 76th prince had never suffered such humiliation before. The other magnates also pointed at Lin Ling and shouted angrily. They were saying that Lin Ling had affected the unity of the 4 magnates. Some were even angry and wanted to chase Lin Ling away. In this mysterious galaxy, no one can control it. That was an accident. However, Lin Ling was not afraid at all. He returned all the words they had said before. This time, everyone was speechless. That's right, it was an accident. The third princess also said at the critical moment. Good, good, good. Lin Ling, I'll remember you. The 76th prince could not find an excuse to flare up. He could only sulk secretly. Thank you, but don't remember me for too long. I'm afraid you'll hurt your body. Lin Ling shrugged indifferently. You. The 76th prince coldly snorted and strode forward. However, he didn't walk for long before he saw the snake of light again in the distant starry sky. This made him so angry that he erupted like a volcano. It turned out that he had used all his strength but still hadn't been able to kill the snake of light. Of course, the falling meteor space snake did not stop him this time. However, when others wanted to step into the next level, the light snake would appear and stop them. If there was an accident, it would be Lin Ling. Lin Ling even smiled at the falling meteor space snake. The light snake looked back at him with a human-like gaze and allowed Lin Ling to enter the next level. Why is this happening? Such unfair treatment had undoubtedly infuriated all the magnates. Second brother is still the best. The Sakra laughed excitedly. Although he did not know how Lin Ling did it, it was obvious that Lin Ling had angered the magnates to death. In fact, he did not know that this was the third time Lin Ling had faced the falling meteor space snake. Especially the first time, when Li Xiaoyao faced the falling meteor space snake, he had fought countless battles with the light snake. They were rivals but also friends. The falling meteor space snake had obviously recognized Lin Ling, so its attitude towards Lin Ling was different. Big brother, I'll go in first. Lin Ling was already heading towards the end. He was familiar with the path as if he was at home. He knew that everyone would be separated after entering the second level. Therefore, it was useless to wait for the Sakra and the rest. Okay. Seeing Lin Ling disappear without a trace, the Sakra immediately nodded. As for the third princess in the distance, her brows were tightly knitted together. She felt that Lin Ling seemed to be very familiar with the eight gods' heavenly palace. Could it be that everything was like what Grandma Wendao said? If she wanted to find that thing, it would be best to seek help from Lin Ling? However, asking her to put down her pride and seek help from Lin Ling, she still could not put down her pride. On the other side, several mysterious people's eyes flickered. I heard that Lin Ling has been to the eight gods' heavenly palace before and acted as a guide. Is that true? That's right, he was the one who led the way the last time. A cloaked person at the side replied. Last time, you and Sun Bone participated in the trip to the eight gods' heavenly palace. If that's the case, what you said is true. Good, send someone to follow Lin Ling. Maybe we can get some treasures. One of the cloaked people said indifferently. Prince is still the one who thought it through. Another person said with a smile. He took off his cloak and revealed a face that Lin Ling was familiar with. It was Luo Xia. Last time, he and Sun Bone participated in the trip to the eight gods' heavenly palace. Therefore, he knew that Lin Ling was very familiar with the eight gods' heavenly palace. He even thought that Lin Ling had obtained some benefits from the eight gods' heavenly palace to become one of the 9 great heavenly palace. Of course, this benefit now belonged to them. As for the second level, the earth element ground, Lin Ling had appeared there. This place was filled with yellow sand and all kinds of powerful demonic beasts were hidden. Chapter 2899. The water elemental land. However, this time, Lin Ling did not linger on this level. He went straight to the third level because there were no more treasures here that could attract him. The third level was the water elemental land. In his memories, there was a treasure here called the seawater heart flower. It was an extremely rare heavenly treasure. It was said that this flower gathered the souls of the sea from 10,000 worlds and could greatly enhance one's physical body. Right now, Lin Ling's soul power had increased greatly. His cultivation had also increased, but his physical body had not improved by much. Therefore, he needed to increase his physical strength. With his essence, qi, and soul cultivation, the three realms had to be balanced in order to form the fourth dantian. Are you Sir Lin Ling? Not long after, Lin Ling met a stranger who seemed to know him. I'm from the imperial court. That person came from afar and waved his hand as he explained. More and more people appeared in the distance. They were also from the imperial court. Obviously, the treasures on the second level did not catch their eyes. They had also come to the third level. It's good to see you all. Help me find the black pool. Lin Ling replied with a smile. It would be difficult for him to find the seawater heart flower on the third level alone. Therefore, he needed help. The third prince said that if we meet Sir Lin Ling in the imperial court, we must listen to Sir Lin Ling's words. Those from the imperial court immediately bowed and replied. Are you Sir Lin Ling? I admire you so much. Please let me follow you. At this time, another person came. It was a young man with a face full of acne. Lin Ling frowned slightly. He was somewhat familiar with this person. Then, his eyes lit up. Wasn't this the follower of the 76th prince? The great Azure Divine Dynasty has ordered that the four magnates should work together in the eight gods' heavenly palace. We are not allowed to fight among ourselves. That person seemed to know that Lin Ling recognized him, so he was afraid that Lin Ling would chase him away. He quickly spoke again. You're right. Then, follow us. Upon hearing this, Lin Ling sneered in his heart as he nodded indifferently. Soon after, he strode forward. The young man with acne secretly laughed and said, This Lin Ling is really too stupid. Isn't keeping me by your side the same as keeping a wolf by your side? He thought that he had gained Lin Ling's trust, so he knew some of Lin Ling's secrets. Perhaps, he could steal some treasures. Unfortunately, he did not see that Lin Ling led the group forward and looked into the distance. In this water elemental land, the sky was filled with puddles of water. It was as if pieces of mirrors left behind by the ancient gods had fallen onto the ground, emitting a precious light. As for the water of the earth, it was a pretty good treasure. It was called First Cloud Heaven water, and was even rarer than Pinnacle Life water. However, the people present were not weak, so no one was interested in these treasures. Cultivators with talents Heavenly Palace. I've entered the martial immortal realm. Heavenly heavens. In every corner of the third level, excited voices rang out unceasingly. Rainbows soared into the sky. This was the characteristic of breaking through to the true God realm. But all of this had nothing to do with Lin Ling. He was still searching for the seawater heart flower. At the same time, an Imperial Dynasty member sent news that he found a different puddle. It was black in color. After hearing the news, Lin Ling led everyone and rushed over. After a long time, he also arrived at that area. He suddenly discovered that the boundless waters ahead were like ink, completely black and extremely mysterious. Your Excellency Lin Ling, is this the place? Someone gravely looked at Lin Ling and asked. What made Lin Ling surprised was that the person who found this water region was Xian Linglong. As for Xian Linglong, she met the people from the imperial court and knew that Lin Ling was looking for a rare treasure, so she joined in. Now that she saw Lin Ling, her attitude was extremely polite. I didn't expect it to be you, Xian Linglong. But where is Meng Lu? Lin Ling had a good impression of Xian Linglong. Although this woman was extremely snobbish, at least she had helped Lin Ling before. We separated. He should still be on the third level. Of course, he might have entered the fourth level. Because this level is full of treasures of water, they are useless to him. Xian Linglong said with a smile. Then she asked, Lin Ling, are there any treasures here? Hearing this, Lin Ling activated 10,000 elephant magic eyes and looked at the black puddle. Then he smiled and said, This is Northstar primordial water. It is more precious than first cloud heavenly water. It has the effect of strengthening one's soul. It should be here. North Star heavenly water. I've heard of this treasure, but I didn't expect it to be like this. Everyone was delighted and quickly collected it. Lin Ling did the same. However, his goal was the seawater heart flower, so he was still searching for this treasure. Could it be in the water? Suddenly, Lin Ling's eyes lit up. Then he became more and more certain. Everyone, get ready to enter the water with me. The treasure I'm looking for is inside. Lin Ling instructed everyone. Everyone nodded. If they followed Lin Ling, they would get more benefits than ordinary people. Lin Ling, looks like you found a good treasure. Good, I'm also very interested in this treasure land. Just as everyone was about to enter the pool, 3 dragons of various colors flew over from the sky. 3 men stood on the dragons. They were 2 old men and a young man. All of them wore dragon robes and had extraordinary auras. Imperial Censor Dragon Court? The eyes of the people in the Imperial Court lit up. However, the 3 of them were not weak. They were all martial immortals. The young man was even a level 3 martial immortal. However, although he looked young, it was very likely that he had been cultivating for a long time. Otherwise, with his cultivation, he would have been one of the 9 heavens. I am Long Tang, the guardian of the carp leaping over Dragon Gate. After the young man jumped down, he smiled faintly at Lin Ling, dragon bloodline. Lin Ling's eyes flashed. The carp leaping over Dragon Gate was a special feature of the universe. Many dragons were born there. The ancestor dragon Granny was one of them. He did not expect this young man to be one too. That's right. Let's not talk about this for now. We've been paying attention to this treasure land for a long time. However, you've beaten us to it. Of course, the 4 of us are working together in this trip to the 8 gods' heavenly palace. So, let's explore the treasure land together. The young man said again. The dragon horn on his forehead shone even more brightly. Damn it, we're the ones who came first. How shameless. Hearing that, the people in the imperial court cursed secretly. Due to the other party's identity, they did not dare to do anything. However, Lin Ling smiled and said, sure. As soon as he said that, the people of the imperial court were very unwilling because they felt that this expert called Long Tang had definitely followed them here in secret. Not good, this Long Tang is one of the 99th prince's people. I didn't expect the 99th prince to also have his eyes on Lin Ling. The young man who had been following at the side cursed secretly. He was one of the 76th prince's people, while the other party was the 99th prince. His background was even greater than his. He did not expect Lin Ling to be so popular that even the 99th prince's people had come. However, he was confident that if they encountered treasures, although he could not compare to Long Tang, he would definitely obtain more than Lin Ling. Chapter 2900. Big Seawater Heart Flower. Lin Ling, be careful. They will strike first when they encounter a treasure. Xian Linglong secretly transmitted her voice to Lin Ling. She was afraid that Lin Ling would not know about the enemy's scheme. They want to snatch the treasure that I, Lin Ling, want. It's not that I, Lin Ling, am arrogant, but they are too inexperienced. Lin Ling quietly replied. Then, he flew above the black water and looked down with his 10,000 demonic eyes. These black waters were like pieces of black gemstones, motionless and unmoving. Then, Lin Ling saw mysterious cyclones spiraling out from one of the waters like invisible dragons. This pool was different from the others. There must be a strange treasure here. It should be there. A smile immediately appeared on Lin Ling's face, and everyone else was overjoyed. I will go first. The young man with a face full of pimples stepped forward and said, "The four magnates want to work together on this trip, so let me take Vanguard Ma. If we encounter any danger, I will block it and protect Sir Lin Ling at all costs." His words sounded nice, as if he was Lin Ling's servant, but in fact, he wanted to strike first to gain the upper hand. "Wait, you stay here and guard the outside in case of any accidents." However, Lin Ling stopped him. "What? I will guard the outside? Aren't I a guard dog?" The young man's pupils constricted. If he could not enter the water, he would not be able to obtain any treasure. He immediately shouted, "I will not go. I am the 76th prince's follower. I will not be a guard dog." "Hee, because you are the prince's follower, your status is high enough. Therefore, you can guard the water. Evil spirits and demons do not dare to come close. This job is yours." Lin Ling smiled casually. The young man was so angry that he gritted his teeth. He wanted to be Lin Ling's ingrate, but in the end, he became a guard dog? "No matter what you say, I will not go." The young man shook his head desperately, but Lin Ling walked over to him and asked softly, "Do you agree or not?" Lin Ling's eyes were very calm, but they were mixed with killing intent. That gaze made the young man's whole body tremble. He knew that if Lin Ling really wanted to kill him, he would not care if he was the heir's man. If he angered Lin Ling, he would kill him without hesitation. Lin Ling was just that crazy. "I agree." The young man nodded gloomily. Not only did he fail to be an ingrate, he even became a watchdog. Seeing this, the people from the imperial dynasty laughed. Lin Ling also took the lead and shot into the water. With a splash, he disappeared into the black water. What was shocking was that this water was extremely heavy, as if it was the force of a world. However, none of the people here were weak. Powerful realm essence appeared on the surface of their bodies, and they all disappeared into the water. As they rushed down, it was pitch black. Those with weak willpower would not be able to endure the loneliness for more than 3 incense sticks' time. Fortunately, this feeling did not last long. Soon, everyone rushed out of the black water area. What appeared before them was an endless black mountain. Rolling waterfalls came crashing down. It was actually the Bachan origin water. On the ground, there were many black plants that looked like thorns. It was very strange. However, on the black thorns, there were small black flowers growing out. Dense realm essence spiritual energy filled the air. Could this be the legendary black forbidden medicine? Among the crowd, Xian Ling Long exclaimed, "This is a treasure comparable to an imperial crystal. However, this treasure has a taboo. That is, you cannot consume more than 49 flowers. If you exceed that amount, not only will your cultivation level not increase, but it will also decrease. That is why it is called the Black Forbidden Medicine. I have also heard of this legend. In the land of the 9 prefectures, only one person has successfully consumed 50 Black Forbidden Medicine and his cultivation level did not decrease. Instead, his strength increased greatly. The others also spoke one after another. They were extremely excited. They did not expect to encounter such a treasure so soon. Long Tang and the 2 old men had already started to collect the flowers. Lin Ling was also doing the same. They collected all the small black flowers around them. Even if each person could only consume 49 flowers, they could give them to their friends in exchange for treasures. Then, everyone went on their way again. They did not encounter any heavenly treasures along the way. However, very soon, rumbling sounds came from the front. Moreover, the sounds were very loud. As they moved forward, the rumbling sounds were as if they were going to break a world. Some of the weaker people were so shocked that their ears started to bleed. They hurriedly covered their ears with realm essence. Only then did they manage to stop a small part of the sound. What is this sound? It sounds like the sound of a heavenly drum. Xian Linglong shouted beside Lin Ling. She was afraid that Lin Ling could not hear her. However, Lin Ling was the only one who was unaffected. Because his body was very strong, his eardrum seemed to have been tempered by iron water. He smiled and said, "It seems like we are about to reach our destination." After saying that, he strode forward. The eyes of Long Tang and the others behind him lit up. Although they had obtained the black forbidden medicine, the greed of humans was obviously not limited to that. Not long after, everyone finally saw the source of the sound. Then, they were all stunned. Because there was a clear pond in front of them. There was a small blue flower in the pond. The small flower was transparent and did not emit any spiritual energy. However, around the small flower, the rolling sea water sprinkled down like a heavenly river. Moreover, the sea water was of different colors. There was a sea of lightning, a sea of ice, and a sea of fire. When the sea water crashed down, the sound was like thunder. It turned out that the deafening sound came from the sea water crashing down. This water is probably the Sea of 10,000 Worlds. Moreover, it is drowned by the Sea of 10,000 Worlds. That flower is actually safe and sound? Everyone was shocked. Because even they could not withstand the impact of the Sea of 10,000 Worlds. However, that small flower could. It was really extraordinary. This is the big seawater heart flower. Wow! Lin Ling was also shocked. This was the first time he had seen the big seawater heart flower. Of course, he was also shocked by the flower. If a human's body was tempered by the Sea of 10,000 Worlds, it would reach an unimaginable height. However, at this moment, Long Tang sneered and took the lead to shoot forward with the other two old men. This action had undoubtedly shocked everyone. Could it be that Long Tang wanted to strike first to gain the upper hand? Long Tang, you are too shameless. Long Tang cursed angrily. Xian Linglong cursed angrily. They were the ones who found the blessed enclave first. Lin Ling allowed them to participate in the operation because of the rules set by the four magnates. In the end, when they saw the treasure, they made the first move. Your Excellency Lin Ling, don't let them succeed. The people of the imperial court looked at Lin Ling and said. However, Lin Ling frowned and did not do anything. Lin Ling, thank you. After this treasure is mine, I will give you some compensation. Long Tang's complacent voice could be heard. The ninth prince is really good at foresight. He knew that Lin Ling was a guide and was familiar with the 8 gods' heavenly palace. Therefore, he asked us to find Lin Ling and follow him. This trip was not in vain. The two old men said with a smile. Chapter 2901. The 4 great beasts of the universe. They will definitely fail. Xian Linglong gritted her teeth and suddenly said. This was because the seawater heart flower was surrounded by all kinds of seas from the myriad worlds. There was a sea of lightning, a sea of ice, and a sea of fire. Ordinary people could not get close. Come out, 3,000 dragon scale umbrella. But at this time, Long Tang waved his right hand and a roar came out. The shadow of a dragon appeared and then the huge dragon exploded. Its scale sputtered out and turned into a multicolored umbrella. The 3 of them held the umbrella and blocked the sea of myriad worlds as they walked step by step towards the seawater heart flower. 3,000 dragon scale umbrella? Xian Linglong's eyes fiercely trembled. This was an existence that surpassed immortal treasures. It was an extreme treasure. Extreme, the ultimate intent. Any treasure that could become an extreme treasure was an existence that could shake the 9 provinces. Its creation was very difficult, but once it was created, it would definitely have a heaven-defying power. As for the multicolored umbrella, Xian Linglong had heard that it was made from the dragon scales of 3,000 dragons. Moreover, each dragon only wanted one scale, and that scale was the reverse scale. Such a precious extreme treasure would require more than 10,000 years to create. I have disappointed you all. Lin Ling, I know that you must be very angry. You spent so much effort only to end up with someone else's wedding dress. But so what if you are angry? Come and destroy my country. Come and kill me. Let's see who is stronger, you or the 99th prince. Under the umbrella, the three of them were laughing with extreme arrogance. At this moment, they had clearly taken off their masks. Even the 99th prince, who had reached the 4th level, couldn't help but smile because he received news from Long Tang that Long Tang's group had taken Lin Ling's treasure. Not bad at all. Only Lin Ling is not my match. This time, we took his treasure and suppressed his spirit. We will let him know who is the master of the Great Azure Divine Dynasty. He faintly smiled and said. With Lin Ling's arrogant personality, he must be bursting with rage right now. However, Lord Long Tang and the others have the 3,000 dragon scale umbrellas, and Lin Ling can't do anything to them. I can't wait to see Lin Ling's current appearance. Beside him, the Luo Sha Thorn also trembled with excitement when he heard the news. They were like the people behind the scenes, toying with Lin Ling. Bastard! At this moment, in the blessed enclave, the eyes of the Imperial Court's people turned red with anger. They all looked at Lin Ling, but what surprised them was that Lin Ling's expression was still calm. He was as calm as the clouds in the sky. Your Excellency Lin Ling, what is the meaning of this? Xian Linglong frowned because this was not in line with Lin Ling's character. Lin Ling said indifferently, the seawater heart flower is a treasure of the universe. How can such a precious treasure not have a powerful divine beast guarding it? Hearing this, Xian Linglong's eyes trembled violently. Almost at the same time, under the blue flower, bubbles appeared on the surface of the water. Then, a large patch of green hair floated up, followed by a pair of bull horns. A ferocious aura quietly spread out. Rumble. The entire cave started to shake, and even the myriad world sea started to flow backwards. This change caused Long Tang and the other two's expressions to change drastically. The 3,000 dragon scale umbrellas above their heads seemed to be on the verge of disintegrating. What kind of terrifying existence was this to be able to shake an extreme-grade weapon? Finally, under the blue flower, a ferocious beast slowly floated up. It had a head of long green hair, and it looked like a ferocious god. However, its body was like a lion, and there were bull horns on its head. Most importantly, in the thick hair, there were 4 pairs of eyes, and they slowly opened. The moment they opened their eyes, a terrifying ferocious aura burst out. Whoosh! The 3,000 dragon scale umbrellas in Long Tang and the others' hands were blown into pieces by the ferocious aura. Roar! The 4-eyed lion beast with dragon horns opened its mouth, bared its fangs, and roared angrily. Puff! Long Tang and the others immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. They no longer looked as smug as before. Instead, they looked as if they were facing a formidable enemy. Let's go. At the same time, Lin Ling's expression changed. He called for everyone to leave quickly. Xian Linglong and the others were trembling with fear. They followed Lin Ling, and on the way, they asked anxiously, Your Excellency Lin Ling, what is that? Tao Tai, one of the 4 ferocious beasts of the universe. It is as famous as the Tao Wu, Hun Dun, and Xiong Qi. Lin Ling said word by word. He was also shocked. In his previous life, Li Xiaoyao had never seen a real ferocious beast. He did not expect that Lin Ling would have the chance to see one in this life. One of the 4 ferocious beasts of the universe. Hearing this, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. However, that is a cub. Otherwise, it would be a disaster. Lin Ling said. Earlier, he had felt that the Taotai only possessed the strength of a 4th-level martial immortal. However, due to its name as a ferocious beast, it was likely capable of killing a 5th-level martial immortal. The true Taotai was not that simple. Cub? Doesn't that mean Long Tang and the others have a chance? Xian Linglong said worriedly. What a joke. Even if the 4 ferocious beasts of the universe have just been born, they are not something that ordinary people can stop. Now, Long Tang and the others have blocked it for us. Otherwise, we might not have been able to escape. As for them, they would have died. Lin Ling said disdainfully. Hearing that, everyone laughed. Previously, Long Tang and the other 2 were so proud of themselves. Now, they had made a wedding dress for them. Rumble. At the same time, it was as if the sky and earth were collapsing behind them. The ferocious aura was like a cloud of gas that could devour everything, destroying everything. Ah, no. Lin Ling, save me. Don't leave. Even the painful cries of Long Tang and the others could be faintly heard. Unfortunately, Lin Ling and the others did not save them. Instead, they ran even faster. Long Tang and the others wanted to snatch the treasure. Now, they would pay the price. At the same time, on the 4th floor, the 99th prince saw that the life plate in his hand had shattered. He was stunned on the spot. Long Tang is dead. What? Everyone who was laughing just now felt as if they had been slapped in the face. They were speechless. Is it Lin Ling? The Luo Sha Thorn was the most furious. Why was Lin Ling so difficult to deal with? Maybe it's him, maybe it's not. The 99th prince strode forward. His expression was extremely cold. It was obvious that he was in a bad mood. At that moment, Lin Ling and the others rushed out of the black waters. Each of them looked as if they had just survived a disaster. The guard dog was still there. When he saw Lin Ling, he immediately asked, "Did you get any treasures?" "What treasures are there down there?" "There are treasures down there. Go and get them. We'll guard this place." Lin Ling said with a smile. "That's great. I'll go down then." The young man with the pimples on his face was overjoyed and wanted to rush down. However, he did not let his excitement get to his head. He immediately reacted and asked with a smile, "That, Your Excellency Lin Ling, what about Long Tang and the others?" "Dead." Lin Ling did not even look at him as he replied indifferently. Plop. Chapter 2902. Meng Lu entered the martial immortal realm. Everyone burst into laughter when they saw his expression. This young man had followed Lin Ling and thought that he would be able to take advantage of him. In the end, he was being toyed around by Lin Ling like a dog. After escaping from the beasts, everyone gradually relaxed. Xian Linglong looked at Lin Ling and said, "Your Excellency Lin Ling, what do we do now? I'm afraid we have to give up on the seawater heart flower. I plan to cultivate in seclusion." Lin Ling pondered for a moment and said slowly. "Cultivate in seclusion here?" Everyone opened their mouths wide. It was rare for the 8 gods' heavenly palace to come here. Everyone was looking for treasures, but Lin Ling was cultivating in seclusion here? Wouldn't that be a waste of a golden opportunity? However, they did not try to persuade Lin Ling. After all, although this was not the best place to break through, many people had broken through here. Lin Ling planned to cultivate in seclusion because he did not want to give up on the seawater heart flower. He could not give it up. Therefore, only by breaking through could he defeat the 4 great ferocious beasts. Soon, everyone left. Lin Ling found a quiet place and prepared to cultivate in seclusion. Xian Linglong and the others were still looking for treasures on the 3rd floor. On the way, they met many people from the imperial court and the other 3 magnates. What? Lin Ling is cultivating in seclusion? They were all shocked and they heard that Lin Ling was cultivating in seclusion. Lin Ling is at the peak of the true God realm. He is cultivating in seclusion to enter the martial immortal realm. However, it is very difficult to enter the martial immortal realm. He might fail. That's right. If he fails, his cultivation will be greatly reduced. Many people were gloating over his misfortune. Breaking through to the martial immortal realm was a big matter. Ordinary people would prepare for 10 years or even 100 or 1,000 years. Then, they would find a quiet place to calm their mind before choosing to break through. However, Lin Ling chose this place and was anxious to break through. This was obviously not a good choice. Right at this time, in the distant 3rd layer, immortal light rushed into the heavens, multicolored light endless. A 7-colored rainbow appeared, as if an immortal was being born. Another person has entered the martial immortal realm. Everyone looked in that direction and then walked over curiously. The martial immortal realm, the immortal realm, was the basic strength that allowed one to move about unhindered in the 9 provinces. Those who had stepped into the martial immortal realm could shake the entire Azure province. Thus, the crowd wanted to know who it was that had become a martial immortal, and which martial immortal had appeared in the Azure province. Furthermore, breaking through to the martial celestial realm was very dangerous. If one was careless, one would fail. At that time, one's cultivation would decrease greatly. It was even possible for one to drop down to the true God realm. Even if one wanted to break through again, it would be very difficult. Therefore, some people with bad intentions liked to cause trouble when others were breaking through. Too slow. However, this time, many old monsters were slow. It was because the 7-colored rainbow in the sky had already taken form. This meant that that person successfully broke through. If the rainbow collapsed, the breakthrough would fail. 7-colored rainbow, that's an incredible existence. Ordinary people are only 3-colored rainbows. An old monster said enviously, he must be a genius. Rumble. At this time, in a massive body of water, waves of water erupted into the heavens. Then, the illusion of the demon god's tomb appeared in the skies. A white-haired youth slowly walked out from the water. The water from the skies sprinkled down, but none of it was able to approach him. Meng Lu. In the crowd, Xian Linglong was the first to cry out in surprise. It's a genius of the imperial court. Damn it, a genius actually broke through. Seeing that, the old monsters of the various big powers were annoyed. If the other party was an old monster, even if he had entered the martial immortal realm, he would not be a big threat. However, it was different for a genius. Once a person entered the martial immortal realm, their battle strength would increase by several times. No wonder it's a 7-colored rainbow. Damn it, we should have come earlier. There were a few people who broke through on the 3rd floor. However, they had water talent and used the right time and place to break through. However, this Meng Lu does not have water talent. How could he break through? He must have obtained some benefits. The spectators discussed animatedly, and their words were filled with envy. After all, everyone was selfish, and it was especially so for the overlords of Pine Prefecture. They didn't want to see a rising star surpass them. At the same time, the big powers on the 4th floor also received the news. Not bad, not bad. Our imperial court has another fierce general. The 3rd princess could not help but be happy. Meng Lu? The genius who challenged the 9 heavens? That's really amazing. Yes, the imperial court has Meng Lu, Xian Linglong, and the most terrifying Lin Ling. The imperial court cannot be underestimated. The big powers said coldly. They felt very uncomfortable. At that moment, all the experts on the 3rd floor were still shocked by Meng Lu's breakthrough. Congratulations, Meng Lu. Xian Linglong stood in the sky and smiled at Meng Lu. The latter was the only one she could not see through, and he did not disappoint her. Meng Lu had broken through. If Lin Ling had broken through, then the imperial court's momentum would definitely increase. Where is Lin Ling? Meng Lu retracted his aura and walked towards Xian Linglong like an immortal. His aura was obviously different from before. His realm essence was stronger and mixed with immortal qi. He could change the world. He was with me before, but he is now in seclusion. I don't know if he is breaking through or comprehending martial arts. Xian Linglong immediately said. Then, she smiled, you have always wanted to surpass Lin Ling. This time, you should not be weaker than Lin Ling. That's right. I have always wanted to surpass him. Only by surpassing him can I be considered to have completed the first stage of the martial path. I can also go home. Originally, I thought it would only take 10 years to return to the family. However, Lin Ling's appearance delayed me for a long time. Meng Lu also smiled. This was the first time he had smiled. However, he soon let out a long sigh. Although I've made a breakthrough, I have a feeling that I'm still no match for Lin Ling unless I reach the third level of the martial immortal realm. Is the gap between you two that big? Hearing this, Xian Linglong's eyes trembled violently. She said in surprise, you are the successor of the 9 provinces' 10 evils. What can I do? That guy is a freak. Meng Lu's smile turned into a bitter smile. Moreover, if Lin Ling is not comprehending martial arts but trying to break through, the gap between us will not shrink. Instead, it will grow further. At this moment, Lin Ling was hiding in a body of water. He was in seclusion to break through. He had obtained a large amount of black forbidden medicine. It was enough for him to break through. However, the black forbidden medicine had a restriction. He could not obtain more than 40 of them. The jade pendant that Grandma Wen Dao gave me has gathered a large amount of mysterious spiritual qi. It will reduce the difficulty of breaking through. Together with the black forbidden medicine, it should be enough. Lin Ling did not break through immediately. Instead, he calmed his mind and focused. In his mind, Li Xiaoyao's past experiences of cultivation kept floating in his mind. Begin. Chapter 2903. 12 Rainbows shocked Qingzhou. The small flowers were stuffed into his mouth and turned into a black stream, merging with the aura emitted by the jade pendant on his waist. His dantian had also undergone an earth-shattering change. The boundary river that stored the boundary essence had collapsed and was quietly transforming into a boundary sea. However, the smoothness of the breakthrough this time was beyond Lin Ling's imagination. There was no need for 49 black forbidden herbs. Around 40 of them were enough for a wisp of divine qi to appear like clouds and mist. As for the dantian's boundary sea, it was shrouded in clouds and mist. Right now, the boundary essence in the first dantian was more than 3 times larger than usual. Moreover, a mysterious feeling arose spontaneously, making Lin Ling feel as if he had reached the void of the universe. He saw the ancient gods, the great Tao of the universe, and the creation of heaven and earth. Rumble. At the same time, a miracle was born. Above the water area where Lin Ling was, a 7-colored rainbow appeared. It was like a bridge that allowed Lin Ling to reach the other side of martial arts. Oh my God, someone has broken through again. It's also a 7-colored rainbow. What a solid rainbow. It means that this person is very talented. Which overlord is this genius? Currently, among the 4 overlords, the ones most likely to break through are Lin Ling, Tian Rui, Yuan Junzi, and the Eastern Crown Prince. Among the 4 of them, in terms of combat power and talent, Lin Ling is the most qualified. Could it be Lin Ling? The 3rd level exploded. The martial artists who were looking for treasures all looked serious. Moreover, Lin Ling was a popular person in the Great Azure Divine Dynasty. Therefore, in the 4th level, those experts were also frowning. Damn it, I came to the 4th level, but he broke through in the 3rd level. I missed the chance to cause trouble. Thunder Sound Mother was furious. In fact, she had been looking for Lin Ling. However, Lin Ling played hide and seek with her, so she couldn't find him. Now that he had broken through in front of her eyes, she couldn't do anything. Is it really Lin Ling? The 99 princes, the left minister's residence, the leader of the Blue Flame Army, the overlords, and the magnates were all paying attention to Lin Ling's breakthrough. They even hurriedly ordered the people on the 3rd level to cause trouble. Although this would anger Lin Ling, if Lin Ling failed to break through, he would also be a cripple. What was there to be afraid of? At that moment, Lin Ling had officially entered the martial immortal realm. His powerful strength nearly caused him to roar toward the sky. However, he managed to calm himself down. The reason for that was because this was only the breakthrough of his first dantian. He wanted to borrow this momentum to break through his second dantian as well. The second dantian was the spacetime flame. When the power of the black forbidden medicine surged into the second dantian, a strange change occurred in the sky. Multicolored light shot out in all directions, and thousands of streaks of auspicious colors appeared. The appearance of the 12-colored rainbow shocked the entire 8 gods' heavenly palace. Even the Great Azure God dynasty had taken action. A 12-colored rainbow represented an extremely powerful talent. It had been many years since someone like that had appeared in Qing State. We must stop him. Damn it! Damn it! Where did he get the treasure to break through? Previously, I received news that Lin Ling had obtained the black forbidden medicine and could consume 49 of them. He must have broken through with the help of this treasure. Those magnates could no longer remain calm. They even had the intention to charge into the 3rd level and risk their lives to stop Lin Ling. As for the cultivators on the 3rd level, they all sucked in a breath of cold air and flew toward the rainbow. Rainbow Bridge, Immortal Bridge, 12-colored rainbow. TSK, he must be Lin Ling. Meng Lu was also moving forward with excitement. In fact, the stronger Lin Ling was, the less he was jealous. That was because Lin Ling was the target that he wanted to surpass. If he were to surpass Lin Ling one day, it would mean that his strength was even more powerful than he had imagined. It could be said that Lin Ling was a banner that led him forward on the path of martial arts. The things that he could not do, the world that he could not see through, were created by Lin Ling for him to follow. Rumble. A huge 12-colored rainbow floated in the sky as if it was the ruler of the world. At that moment, a large number of cultivators had gathered around the rainbow. The old monsters of the 10,000 realms and the Qing province were all red-eyed. They were risking their lives to stop Lin Ling from breaking through. As for the people of the imperial court, they were naturally there too. However, their faces were pale because with their strength, they could not stop the experts from all sides. However, at that moment, Lin Ling did not know that his breakthrough had attracted experts from all sides. Instead, he was happy. That was because his 2 dantians had successfully entered the martial immortal realm, causing his strength to increase greatly. This kind of success was beyond imagination. What was left was the 3rd dantian. The 3rd dantian was the Thunder dantian, which was also the weakest dantian. The 1st dantian used 40 black forbidden medicine, the 2nd dantian used 30, and there are still 9 black forbidden medicine left. Lin Ling quickly swallowed it. However, he discovered that the power of 9 black forbidden medicine was not enough to break through. Although the Thunder dantian is very weak, it requires a lot of power. Do I have to swallow another one? Lin Ling thought to himself. He was a little hesitant. After all, the taboo of the black forbidden medicine was 49. If he swallowed another one, it would depend on his luck. However, most of them failed and their cultivation decreased greatly. Therefore, Lin Ling did not have much confidence. One had to know that others would fail when breaking through one dantian. However, he had succeeded in both dantians. If he wanted to succeed in the third dantian, it would be even more difficult. Most importantly, breaking through 3 dantians at the same time was unprecedented in the 9 provinces. It's fine. The third dantian is a secondary dantian. Even if my cultivation decreased greatly, I can use treasures to recover it. The main thing is that the main dantian is not affected. Lin Ling was very clear about the chaos divine formula. The main dantian was the most important. The secondary dantian could never surpass the main dantian. Therefore, even if the secondary dantian collapsed, he could rely on the chaos divine formula to cultivate a new dantian, not to mention a collapsed dantian. I'll risk it. I don't believe that my luck will be so bad. Lin Ling began to swallow the black forbidden medicine. He felt that the spiritual energy here wasn't enough, so he swallowed another 5. Rumble, rumble, rumble. His third dantian was like a thunderstorm. A black flood rushed in, stirring up a storm of blood. But it was clear that he had failed this time. He didn't know if it was because of the taboo of the black forbidden medicine or because his third dantian's background was insufficient. His third dantian had collapsed and he had fallen to the World King realm. Lin Ling bitterly smiled. It seemed that recultivating his third dantian would take a great deal of time. However, he wasn't annoyed. This was because he didn't have much confidence in breaking through 3 dantians at the same time. Even if he failed this time, he could continue the next time. It was as simple as eating and drinking, it wasn't a big deal. Attack! At this time, all around the water region, the martial artists couldn't bear it any longer. They erupted with powerful ultimate skills, preparing to bombard the water region. But at this time, a change occurred in the skies. The immortal bridge, the 12-colored rainbow, shattered like glass. Wah, the rainbow shattered and we haven't even done anything yet. Lin Ling's breakthrough has failed. Everyone was stunned for a moment before they were overjoyed. Chapter 2904. No matter how pitiful I am not as pitiful as you. Black forbidden medicine? He actually obtained such a precious treasure. Is this guy an idiot? Black forbidden medicine can't be consumed in large quantities. No one can break the taboo. So that's how he failed. The heavens are jealous of geniuses. With this failure, it will be twice as difficult for him to enter the martial immortal realm. More gloating voices sounded. Unfortunately, they didn't know that the collapse of Lin Ling's third dantian was only a small matter to him. It wasn't a bottleneck at all. Furthermore, because of his main dantian, the next breakthrough of his third dantian would be twice as difficult. Lin Ling, it's impossible for him to fail. Standing in the sky, Meng Lu kept sighing. At first, he didn't believe the scene in front of him. However, after hearing about the black forbidden medicine, he believed it. That was because there was a reason why a taboo was called a taboo. Moreover, in the history of the 9 provinces, only one person had broken the taboo. This showed how strict the taboo was. Let's go. Lin Ling is already a trash. He won't be able to accomplish anything. We should seize the time to search for treasures and then go to the 4th floor. Following that, the experts of the various big powers left one after another. They didn't have time to care about a trash. Sigh, the heavens are jealous of geniuses. Meng Lu, how are we now? Xian Linglong looked at Meng Lu and said. In her opinion, Lin Ling was already a trash and wasn't worth paying attention to anymore. Let's wait for him. In the end, there will be people who want to harm Lin Ling. Since we know Lin Ling, we should help him if we can. Meng Lu's temperament had always been cold. That was because he didn't like strangers. However, he had interacted with Lin Ling too much. Thus, he couldn't bear to see Lin Ling die. After all, Lin Ling was once a man who stood above him. Moreover, Lin Ling had saved him once in the Azure Dragon Divine Mansion. Hearing that, Xian Linglong nodded. She looked at the water below and said indifferently, "Lin Ling, come out. It's just a failed breakthrough. It's no big deal." It could be seen that her attitude towards Lin Ling was not as respectful as before. Of course, she wasn't adding insult to injury. After all, Lin Ling was still someone from the imperial court. Her voice floated into the water, causing the smiling Lin Ling to be stunned. He was still immersed in the joy of breaking through, so Xian Linglong's voice caught him off guard. "Oh, that's right. A breakthrough in the martial immortal realm is something that can cause an abnormal change in heaven and earth. My breakthrough has definitely been noticed by the big powers of the Azure province. Did they think that I failed in my breakthrough?" After being stunned for a moment, Lin Ling suddenly laughed. Moreover, his laughter was very bright. Hiding his cultivation was also very good. At the crucial moment, he could catch his opponent off guard. He used his shattered third dantian and hid the other two dantians. Then, he floated out of the water. Crash! Ripples appeared in the glossy water. Then, a figure floated out of it. Both Meng Lu and Xian Linglong were stunned. Meng Lu immediately frowned. He discovered that even though Lin Ling had failed in his breakthrough, his expression was still calm and there wasn't the slightest bit of decadence. As expected of the man above my head. Even with such a setback, he can still remain calm. Meng Lu was secretly shocked. He admired Lin Ling's mentality. Looking at Xian Linglong, she shook her head. She discovered that Lin Ling was only at the World King realm. His cultivation had fallen too quickly. However, she and Lin Ling were friends. Therefore, she comforted him, "Lin Ling, the world is unpredictable. Don't take it to heart. Sometimes, a peaceful life is also very good." What she meant was that Lin Ling would become an ordinary person in the future. He should enjoy the life of an ordinary person and completely give up on the martial path. Lin Ling sensed Xian Linglong's attitude towards him. He sighed inwardly. As the saying goes, time reveals a person's heart. If Lin Ling were to display his full strength today, Xian Linglong would definitely flatter him. Thus, sometimes hiding one's cultivation was also very good. However, Lin Ling wasn't too familiar with Xian Linglong. They were only together because of their own interests. Thus, Lin Ling was used to Xian Linglong's attitude towards him. World King realm, Lin Ling, you actually became a world king." At this time, a mocking laugh sounded out from the distance. Several youths stepped on the clouds and walked over. And these youths were among the strongest of the first generation. In the past, they had been beaten by Lin Ling until they were scared. They didn't even have the courage to look at Lin Ling. But now, they clearly didn't fear Lin Ling. "Do you want to die? Screw off." At this time, Meng Lu coldly spoke out, causing the expressions of these first-generation talents to change. They were filled with awe towards Meng Lu. "Meng Lu?" Lin Ling faintly smiled. He didn't think that not only would Meng Lu not look down on him, but he would instead take the initiative to protect him. It had to be known that Meng Lu was one of the 9 provinces' 10 evils. People with such backgrounds would normally treat all living beings as ants. And this was what it meant to be a friend in need. Senior apprentice brother Meng Lu, in the past Lin Ling humiliated me. I have a personal grudge with him and this grudge must be avenged. I hope you won't interfere." One of the youths was still unwilling. Lin Ling had become a piece of trash at the World King realm. If he didn't step on him a few times, he wouldn't be happy. This was because in the past, Lin Ling had humiliated him. No wonder you can only remain as first-generation talents forever. So this is all you have. When others are strong, you only know how to respect them, but when some accident happens to them, you jump out and clamor. With such an attitude, you really are worse than dogs. Meng Lu laughed, his words full of ridicule. Hearing this, the faces of these first-generation talents turned red and blue. They didn't dare to provoke Meng Lu. Instead, they looked at Lin Ling and said, "Lin Ling, you were the strongest first-generation talent in the past, the most monstrous genius of Blue Province. Do you dare to fight like a man? Come and fight. I'll give you 10 moves. If you aren't defeated within 10 moves, I'll admit defeat. Is that enough? Do you dare to fight?" These first-generation talents were all filled with fighting spirit, their fighting spirit boiling over. What was ironic was that they saw that Lin Ling was only at the World King realm. If Lin Ling were at the true divinity realm, how could they dare to be so domineering? Meng Lu laughed even louder, as if he was looking at a group of trash. Moreover, no matter what Lin Ling's current cultivation was, he was still the man above him in the past. How could he allow these clowns to humiliate him? Just as he was about to move, Lin Ling coldly smiled. "Why wouldn't I dare?" As these words fell, Meng Lu was stunned. He didn't interrupt Lin Ling's choice, because if he protected Lin Ling, that would be the same as sympathizing with Lin Ling. And what a man needed the least was sympathy. "Huh, you dare to fight? I'll do it." "You shut up, I'll do it." Seeing Lin Ling agree, these first-generation talents all rushed to fight. This was because if they defeated Lin Ling, then when they returned to Blue Province, they would also be famous figures. Finally, a thin and weak youth walked out. He looked at Lin Ling with contempt. The strongest first-generation talent of the past has fallen to such a state today. Truly pitiful, truly lamentable. You should have the fate of the Son of Heaven, right? You should hand it over. You no longer have the qualifications to possess such a treasure. No matter how pitiful I am not as pitiful as you. Lin Ling coldly said. Chapter 2905. Because you are a piece of trash. Because if we really fight, you will die. Lin Ling took a step forward, lightning appearing on his body. This was the lightning power of his third dantian. However, this lightning was very weak, and his realm essence was also extremely dim. "Huh, World King realm? I fear that your realm essence seed isn't even condensed yet." Seeing Lin Ling's appearance, not only was the thin youth not afraid, he instead laughed loudly. "Watch as I defeat you in one move." The cry of a phoenix rang out. The thin youth turned into a 7-colored phoenix, fiercely attacking Lin Ling. Meanwhile, Lin Ling was expressionless. He also sent out a fist. This fist contained the power of lightning. It looked very weak. When they saw this, the distant spectators all sighed. Lin Ling was very arrogant, but unfortunately, he couldn't see reality clearly. He was no longer the most powerful exceptional talent worshipped by tens of thousands. "Meng Lu, are you not going to help him?" Xian Ling long hesitated, and then couldn't help but ask. Meng Lu frowned, but in the end, he still shook his head. Even if Lin Ling was defeated, he still didn't want to sympathize with Lin Ling, because this would be humiliating Lin Ling. Rumble. The fist collided with the 7-colored phoenix. On the ground, water rushed into the sky, scattering down a torrential downpour. "I'm afraid Lin Ling is dead." Those exceptional talents shook their heads. They knew that the youth before looked like he was exchanging pointers, but in reality, he wanted to kill Lin Ling, because the latter was someone from the left minister's residence. Killing Lin Ling would be a great merit. Next, However, just as they finished speaking, a slender figure appeared in the torrential downpour. It was Lin Ling. In front of him, the youth stood there, his eyes bloodshot, as if he couldn't believe everything before his eyes. How could this be? How? He also spat out a mouthful of blood. This was because when Lin Ling's fist collided with his, he discovered that the fist had shattered his dantian, bones, and meridians. Lin Ling placed his hand on his forehead and lightly pushed, causing the latter to fall to the ground. At the same time, his disdainful voice floated out, "Because you are a piece of trash." Bang! When the voice echoed through the earth, everyone was shocked. Meng Lu and Xian Linglong's jaws dropped. A world king had killed a true divinity, and with a single punch? As expected, that exceptional talent was a piece of trash. As for the other exceptional talents, their faces were all pale. Even though they didn't know how Lin Ling won, right now, Lin Ling was still as glorious as before, as if the most powerful exceptional talent of the past had risen. "So sorry. We were wrong." Without any hesitation, those exceptional talents knelt down and begged for forgiveness. "Hand over your treasures, or die," Lin Ling said indifferently. Those exceptional talents were a bit reluctant, but after seeing the indifferent blue-robed youth, they all handed over their treasures and bitterly smiled again and again. "Motherfucker, we were tricked. This fellow didn't fail at all." "Who the fuck said Lin Ling failed? Stand up, I definitely won't beat you to death." After handing over their treasures, those exceptional talents all cursed inwardly. "Yo, you've plundered quite a few treasures." Lin Ling checked his harvest and was also shocked, because these exceptional talents had truly gained quite a bit. No wonder their faces were all dark and their bodies were shaking. It was because their hearts were shaking. Scram! Lin Ling waved his hand, having those exceptional talents piss their pants in terror and run away. "Meng Lu, thank you. However, no matter how much I, Lin Ling, have fallen, it is not up to others to help me." Lin Ling bowed slightly towards Meng Lu, then turned and left with large strides. The surrounding martial artists, Meng Lu, Xian Linglong, and the others, all looked at that free and easy figure, each and every one of them feeling like they were dreaming. That figure was like the blue sky and white clouds, wild and unruly, his arrogance reaching the clouds. He was exactly the same as Lin Ling, whose name shook Qing province in the past and created countless legends. Could it be that Lin Ling didn't fail at all? Meng Lu, Lin Ling's strength? Xian Linglong frowned. She suddenly felt a bit of regret, because her attitude towards Lin Ling before seemed to be a bit arrogant. "It's his physical strength." Meng Lu pondered for a moment, then said indifferently, "His physical strength is very strong, so even if his realm essence has weakened, it is still not something exceptional talents can touch. So that's how it is." Hearing this, Xian Linglong nodded in realization. It seemed like she had thought too much. Although his strength can defeat exceptional talents, there are as many people in the Eight Gods' heavenly palace who are stronger than exceptional talents. Therefore, Lin Ling is still very dangerous. Meng Lu said again. Then, he strode forward in search of his own opportunity. Sai, the fourth level, the world of the strong, Lin Ling is probably not qualified to enter. Xian Linglong sighed inwardly and followed Meng Lu. "What? You were all defeated by Lin Ling?" As for the exceptional talents from before, they were stopped by an old man, who was asking about the process of the previous battle. "I am a guest elder of the Azure Dragon Divine Palace from 10,000 worlds. My name is Zhang Huanga, you can call me Master Zhang. Tell me all the power Lin Ling used before." Lin Ling used the power of lightning, but he killed senior brother Lu with one punch. "You've been fooled. Lin Ling is proficient in the spacetime fire, and he has the god-devil body. He didn't even use his strongest move before, which means that his strength has been greatly reduced. But he also killed senior brother Lu with one punch. His physical strength won't be weakened because of a breakthrough. In fact, that was Lin Ling's strongest punch. Moreover, he should have been seriously injured. Unfortunately, you were frightened by Lin Ling's fame and still thought that Lin Ling was very strong. Ah, we've been fooled. After the exceptional talents analyzed the situation, they were so angry that their faces turned red. Then, they roared, "Bastard, Lin Ling is actually an arrow at the end of its flight. Find him, we must find him. Hee, there are probably many people who want to catch him now. Lin Ling has the Son of Heaven's fate, which is a delicious cake. Soon, there will be more and more people looking for him, and Lin Ling will die in the 3rd level." The old man revealed a sinister smile. Right now, the experts of the Imperial Court had all gone to the 4th level, so no one could help Lin Ling. Moreover, Lin Ling had become a cripple, so the Imperial Court might not be able to protect Lin Ling anymore. It could only be said that Lin Ling was too arrogant and had offended too many ancient experts. At this moment, Lin Ling was heading towards the Blackwater region. He looked at the distant sky and felt that the world was about to move. Right now, there should be many people looking for him. In the past, he, Lin Ling, was very strong, and many people respected him greatly. However, that was only on the surface. Secretly, those people wanted nothing more than to kill Lin Ling. Now, Lin Ling could clearly see who wanted to kill him, so he could catch them all in one fell swoop. However, the most important thing right now was for Lin Ling to obtain the seawater heart flower, because if the magnates knew about this treasure, they would probably return from the 4th level to seize it. According to his memories, Lin Ling once again arrived at the Blackwater region. What surprised him was that there were several figures standing at the edge of the Blackwater region, discussing spiritedly. Chapter 2906. Stealing the Seawater Heart Flower. But senior brother Zhang said that there are powerful ferocious beasts in the blessed enclave under the water. Should we go down? Let's go down and give it a try. The path of martial arts is filled with death. If we don't increase our strength, we'll be looked down upon forever. These people actually planned to enter the Black Waters. Moreover, they were also from the Imperial Court. This isn't a place you can enter. Didn't the Imperial Court tell you? Lin Ling floated down and said indifferently. Your Excellency Lin Ling. These people were shocked and then bowed to Lin Ling. A good-looking woman said to Lin Ling, the Imperial Court did say that it's dangerous below the Black Waters, but they didn't say what kind of danger there is. We're the weakest in the Imperial Court and have a lowly status. Therefore, we don't want to give up this opportunity. The girl who spoke looked very cute and had a round, apple-like face. She looked at Lin Ling with a gaze full of reverence. Even her voice was trembling. Seeing this, Lin Ling couldn't help but smile. Your willpower is very strong, but do what you can. Under the Black Waters, you will definitely die. Moreover, even if you have a slim chance of surviving, Lin Ling, will not stop you from going down. Thank you, Your Excellency Lin Ling. These people believed in Lin Ling's words and nodded. Lin Ling sighed. These people probably didn't know that his cultivation had decreased greatly. If they knew, would they still treat him like this? Your Excellency Lin Ling, I'm Lin Ping, I look up to you the most. I'm Su Shu. I joined the Imperial Court because of you. Seeing Lin Ling smile, the people from the Imperial Court didn't feel so much pressure anymore. If you want to obtain some treasures, why don't you head west and find the blue and orange waters? After you gather them, you can fuse them with divine crystals. The effects of the divine crystals will increase by 10 times. Lin Ling thought about it and decided to help these people. Although they were weak, they had the heart to become stronger and weren't afraid of danger. Is that so? Thank you, Sir Lin Ling. Lin Ping was overjoyed and left with the others. Lin Ling shook his head and jumped into the black water. As for Lin Ping and the others, they chatted as they walked. Your Excellency Lin Ling is famous throughout the Azure province. I thought you were a fierce god, but I didn't expect you to be so easy to talk to. Yeah, and he doesn't put on any airs when he treats us. He's completely different from the other experts. I really want to keep him by my side. Most importantly, I think he's so handsome. Yo, our Ping is thinking of love. Hateful. Lin Ling and the other women chattered incessantly, causing those young men to shake their heads helplessly. However, they were extremely excited in their hearts when they thought about how Lin Ling was able to talk to them. Gulyalu. At that moment, Lin Ling had passed through the black waters and arrived at the blessed enclave again. Here, there were mountains and lofty ridges. It was like another world. Looking at the sky, the black waters were rolling like dark clouds. Lin Ling's expression turned serious as he strode forward. Rumbling sounds of water could be heard in front of him. After a while, the Sea of 10,000 Realms appeared again. Within it, a small transparent flower was swaying slightly, emitting a mysterious light. Looking around, the ground was a mess. The 3,000 dragon-scale umbrella was lying in tatters in the distance. As for Long Tang and the others, they were probably dead. Tao Tai, one of the 4 most ferocious creatures in the universe. It's extremely powerful and has gained human intelligence. I have to strike first to gain the upper hand. Lin Ling's soul power spread out. Seeing that the surroundings were still quiet, Lin Ling's eyes emitted a sharp light. Whoosh! Before Tao Tai appeared, Lin Ling had already dashed towards the seawater heart flower. Lin Ling's tyrannical body blocked the Sea of 10,000 Realms. However, the mysterious sea still crashed into him, causing his bones to shatter. He knew that he could only block the impact of the sea for 3 breaths. However, 3 breaths were as long as 3 centuries for Lin Ling. It was enough. He was getting closer and closer to the seawater heart flower. In the next moment, he held the small flower in his palm and pulled it out. However, although the flower looked small, it was as heavy as 1,000 caddies. Not good. Lin Ling's expression changed drastically. At the same time, green hair emerged from the water beneath his feet. Tao Tai had appeared. Rumble. Billowing ferocious aura erupted at the same time, causing Lin Ling's expression to turn serious. Fortunately, the ferocious aura rushed out from the bottom of the water. Coupled with Lin Ling's strength, he was able to pull the seawater heart flower out. Moreover, his body retreated like an arrow. How dare you! At the same time, a low voice sounded. The water surface exploded, and the ferocious beast quickly appeared. Its 4 eyes stared fiercely at Lin Ling. Its body was like a qilin, its green hair dancing wildly, its sharp horns, and its ferocious face. All these proved that it was a ferocious beast of slaughter. Rumble. Billowing ferocious aura filled the air, causing huge waves to appear in the black water in the sky. On the other hand, Lin Ling smiled bitterly. Originally, he wanted to make the first move to gain the upper hand and then quickly leave. However, now that the beast had awakened, a fierce battle was inevitable. 1 man and 1 beast just watched quietly like this. Time passed quietly. At this moment, above the black water, a large number of figures floated in the sky. They had captured many people from the imperial court. Is Lin Ling under the black water? Roar! One of the burly men shouted angrily. He had the face of a lion and was extremely terrifying. Speak! Speak! Beside him was an old man with 8 arms. His beard was extremely long, like the arms of an octopus. These experts came from thousands of worlds. After knowing that Lin Ling had become a cripple, they came for the emperor's mandate. Because becoming the Azure Emperor was the dream of all Qing state warriors. However, the third level was too big. They couldn't find Lin Ling, so they captured people from the imperial court. They wanted to know where Lin Ling was through them. Sir, you dare to break the rules? Are you not afraid that the third prince will kill you? Sir. In the imperial court, an old man said coldly. We have a personal grudge with Lin Ling. It has nothing to do with the imperial court. Moreover, there are so many people who want to capture Lin Ling. Can the imperial court handle all of them? If the third prince knew that Lin Ling had become a cripple, he would probably abandon Lin Ling. Sir. As for you, we won't kill you because we don't want to offend the imperial court. However, if you don't tell us where Lin Ling is, don't blame us for being ruthless. Sir. The old monsters said coldly. There were many exceptional talents and magnates among them. We don't know. Sir. However, the people from the imperial court were very stubborn. They clenched their teeth and refused to say anything. Not good, Sir. Lin Ling is in the black water. If these old monsters know, Sir Lin Ling will be in trouble. Yes. In the imperial court, someone secretly transmitted to Lin Ping, Only a few of them knew where Lin Ling was. However, they didn't plan on revealing Lin Ling's location. Chapter 2907. The King of Beasts. I have 80 million divine crystals here. As long as you tell me where Lin Ling is, these divine crystals will belong to you. I'll even teach you a martial art. That's right. Although you're from the imperial court, the true experts have all gone to the 4th level, so you shouldn't have any status in the imperial court. If you want others to worship you, you have to be stronger. Don't miss the chance we're giving you. That's right. The old monsters all took out temptations, making the imperial court people lick their lips. Indeed, they were very ordinary in the imperial court, but now, they had a chance. If they could get those treasures, their strength would increase greatly. That's right. One of them opened his mouth, wanting to say something. Shut up. Although we're weak, we have principles. As people of the imperial court, how can we betray our own people so easily? However, Lin Ping suddenly shouted. I was wrong. That's right. Hearing that, that person immediately lowered his head. You have backbone. However, little girl, you're still too inexperienced. You definitely know where Lin Ling is, and you all look panicked. This means that Lin Ling is nearby. Am I right? A cunning old man suddenly laughed sinisterly, causing Lin Ping, and the others' expressions to change. With their experience, they were clearly too inexperienced compared to the old monsters. He should be in the black waters. Find him, we must find that trash Lin Ling. That's right. The first generation of the various giants also spoke one after another. Boom. However, at that moment, a soaring ferocious aura erupted, and the image of a ferocious beast appeared. It was as if a monarch had descended upon the world. Tao Tai, one of the 4 great beasts of the universe. That's right. Those old monsters could be said to have seen a lot. They were so frightened that their faces turned pale. Looking at this aura, it's probably at the 5th level of the martial immortal realm. That's right. It should be a young beast, but it's not something we can provoke. That's right. Everyone began to quietly retreat. Even the 4 giants couldn't kill the 4 great beasts of the universe. If the Tao Tai charged out, this place would be littered with corpses. Retreat. That's right. Someone shouted and hurriedly ran into the distance. Damn it, is Lin Ling really here? The eyes of those exceptional talents turned red from anger, all of them looking at Lin Ping, and the others. It is indeed here. Moreover, His Excellency Lin Ling clearly knows that there are ferocious creatures in the black waters, yet he isn't the slightest bit afraid. Look at your appearances, you're scared witless. Huh, you want to compare yourself to Lin Ling? You're just a bunch of dogs. At this moment, Lin Ping's heart was at ease. You shut up, you must be deceiving us. How can that Tao Tai be someone that Lin Ling, this trash, can challenge? In my opinion, Lin Ling isn't here at all. The exceptional talents all shouted angrily. That's because you're trash. You're a bunch of trash. Everyone in the imperial court laughed mockingly, especially Lin Ling's. At this moment, she worshipped Lin Ling even more. This was because Lin Ling was not afraid of the monster that everyone was afraid of. This made her feel very proud. Moreover, if it wasn't for Lin Ling's warning, they would definitely have to face that monster. Therefore, Lin Ling had saved their lives. Let me tell you, Lin Ling is in the black waters. If you have the ability, then go find him. If you wait until he comes out, trash like you definitely won't dare to be arrogant. You can only obediently kneel and kowtow. Lin Ping said again. Take them away. An old monster roared. He clearly didn't think that Lin Ling was in the black waters. He was definitely hiding somewhere else. Our patience is limited. We'll give you 1 day. After 1 day, if you don't speak, then every 2 hours, we'll kill one of you. Everyone fled this place, but they still weren't willing to give up on Lin Ling, so they kidnapped the imperial court's people. Meanwhile, the black waters were surging with great waves, as if a vicious creature had descended. However, the black waters were extremely peaceful. 1 man and 1 beast faced off against each other. The 4 eyes of the Tao Tai stared at Lin Ling and spoke in human language. Previously, there were many people gathered above. I thought they were here to save you, but now it seems that they're just a bunch of trash. They don't even have as much courage as you. At least, you're the first person to remain calm in front of me. Moreover, you've been here once before, but you still dared to come despite knowing how terrifying I am. You really surprised me. Could it be that you didn't see the 3 people who died before? I saw them, so what? Lin Ling stood tall like a pine tree, his blue robe fluttering in the wind. The Tao Tai didn't seem to be in a hurry to kill Lin Ling and said slowly, Kid, you really have guts. However, you stole my seawater heart flower. Your courage also makes me very angry. Do you know that for this seawater heart flower, I've been here for 5,000 years? What a joke. Heavenly treasures can only be obtained by those who have the ability. How could it be yours just because you came first? Moreover, if we're talking about who knew about this seawater heart flower earlier, I already knew about this seawater heart flower in my last life. At that time, you were still drinking milk. Lin Ling faintly smiled, causing the Taotia's 4 eyes to twinkle. It discovered that this youth in front of it was a bit strange. You're only a human world king, yet you're not afraid of me? I see that your courage is extraordinary, so I'll give you a chance. Put down the seawater heart flower and I'll let you leave. The Tao Tai said again. Thank you. Lin Ling calmly shrugged. He gently bent down, preparing to put down the seawater heart flower. But at this time, the Taotia's 4 eyes emitted an ominous light. It was one of the 4 great vicious beasts of the universe. How could it let someone leave? However, Lin Ling seemed to know its temperament. He bent down and stood up straight again. I've suddenly changed my mind. You. The Tao Tai didn't think that Lin Ling would change his mind so quickly, as if he were toying with it. You don't need to play any tricks. This black water region has already been sealed off by you. Unless you die, no one will be able to leave. Moreover, how can the words of the king of vicious beasts be trusted? Lin Ling put away the seawater heart flower once more, smiling as he spoke. It seems that I've underestimated you. Then, let's see just who the master of this seawater heart flower is. The Taotia's vicious aura became increasingly rich. Its long blue hair wildly danced in the wind. In the next moment, it vanished from where it was. It actually had the speed of 20 worlds. Seeing this, Lin Ling's complexion also became dignified. Boy, I have to admit that you are a bit strange. But in this universe of chaos, strength is everything. A giant claw tore through space. It was fast, incomparably fast. This claw could collapse 10 worlds. In the Taotia's opinion, this claw could even take Lin Ling's life. However, it was surprised. This was because Lin Ling also attacked. Billowing flames erupted, multicolored as they illuminated the entire Blackwater region. A terrifying fist mixed with powerful world essence collided with the claw. Rumble, rumble, rumble. As the two powerhouses collided, the surrounding mountains were instantly flattened. You are not at the World King realm. This is impossible. I am one of the 4 great vicious beasts of the universe and I have the 4 absolute eyes. If you hide your cultivation, it should be impossible for me to not see it. The Taotai cried out in alarm. This was too strange, it had surpassed its imagination. Chapter 2908. I will remember this enmity. At this moment, Lin Ling had already used his flame dantian. When the other claw came at him, his left fist also blasted out. Boom! 2 claws clashed against 2 fists. The terrifying impact seemed like it was going to destroy the blessed enclave. 1 man and 1 beast faced each other. Behind the Taotai, his long green hair danced wildly, and his vicious aura seemed to be surging. Behind Lin Ling, the flame god's heart jumped, and the space-time flame continued to burn. Moreover, a huge mouth appeared, as if it was going to swallow the heavens and the earth. Impossible. You have the talent of the world-swallowing beast? The Taotai screamed again. The world-swallowing beast was an extremely mysterious existence in the universe. It had never appeared on a human before. Hee, do you think you're the only one who's a monster? Lin Ling's lips curled into an evil smile. Who exactly are you? Could you be one of the 4 most ferocious beings in the universe, chaos? Taotai's voice became solemn. He had a cultivation level and power that he could not see through, and he also had the talent of a realm-swallowing beast. Such an existence could not appear among humans. Only chaos, one of the 4 most ferocious creatures in the universe, might have such power. The ultimate form of the world-swallowing beast is chaos, one of the 4 most ferocious creatures in the universe. It has the power to swallow 10,000 realms. You must be chaos. The Taotai roared angrily once again. Its terrifying ominous aura materialized and shot towards Lin Ling. At the same time, Lin Ling merged his 3 dantians together. His strength instantly reached the 2nd layer martial immortal realm. Together with the worldly change of the demonic flame transformation, countless fiery coffins descended from the sky and collided with the ferocious aura. Rumble. The collision of the 2 ferocious creatures caused the black water to explode. Water soared into the sky. In the distance, those martial artists saw the earth-shattering impact behind them, and they all sucked in a breath of cold air. Fortunately, they ran fast enough, otherwise, not even their bones would be left. What they didn't know was that half of that terrifying power came from the so-called trash, Lin Ling. If they knew all of this, would they still dare to encircle Lin Ling? Most likely, he was so scared that he fled to the 2nd level. At this moment, in the blessed cave, a man and a beast were still facing each other. Taotai did not expect that he could not deal with the young man in front of him. He was completely furious. soul-devouring Tao Tai. A huge mouth suddenly appeared and swallowed Lin Ling. It was actually the soul of the Tao Tai. This Tao Tai was worthy of being one of the 4 great ominous creatures of the universe. It was an extremely powerful existence in each domain and could be said to be invincible. Even Lin Ling had a grave expression on his face. He did not expect that after becoming a martial immortal, he would not be able to fight against other cultivators. Instead, he would encounter this demonic beast. Fortunately, this was only a cub. If it was a fully grown ferocious beast, he would have no choice but to abandon the seawater heart flower and flee. Playing with soul force? Do you think you're the only one who can do that? On Lin Ling's body, a terrifying soul power also rushed out. He transformed into a human form and punched out. Pop! Pop! Invisible soul forces collided. If it were any other martial artist here, just the ripples of soul force alone would cause their soul to collapse. But in the collision of soul force, Tao Tai still wasn't able to gain any advantage, and even suffered a bit of a loss. Impossible. Why is your soul power so strong? Isn't the primal chaos not good at soul power? Tao Tai was somewhat furious. He had never seen such a troublesome primal chaos. How many times have you said impossible? Let me tell you, you can't kill me. The seawater heart flower is on me, and now it belongs to me. Lin Ling sneered. His long hair was also wildly dancing. He was simply a living ferocious beast. In terms of world essence, he was not much weaker than Tao Tai with the fusion of his 3 dantians and the evil flame transformation. In terms of physical strength, he had the god-demon body and the world-devouring beast. He was not much weaker than Tao Tai. In terms of soul power, he could even crush Tao Tai. At this moment, Tao Tai was extremely depressed. He did not expect Lin Ling to be so difficult to deal with. He was even more difficult to deal with than the 3 people he had killed earlier. Most importantly, Lin Ling's cultivation realm was lower than the 3 of them. There are 4 ferocious beasts in the universe: Tao Tai, Xuanni, Qiong Qi, and Primal Chaos. These are the kings of the ferocious beasts, above the 10 ferocious beasts. The 10 ferocious beasts: Sky-Cracking Roar, Coral Unicorn, Red Flame Golden Xuanni, Ice-Horn Demonic Dragon, 8-Clawed Fire Centipede, 9-Winged Celestial Dragon, Thunderbat Dragon, Blue-Winged Sea Dragon, Sea-Cracking Mysterious Dragon Whale, and Kuei Cow. When they meet the kings of the ferocious beasts, they are like subjects. You are definitely the king of the 4 ferocious beasts. Tao Tie's voice became more and more serious. Now, it only had one choice. 1. Give up on the seawater heart flower. 2. Erupt its ferocious beast bloodline. As for the second choice, it would weaken its bloodline, and it would need more treasures to make up for it. In the end, it chose to throw caution to the wind. Empty void. Endless green hair danced wildly, turning into a huge vortex like a black hole that wanted to devour everything. At this moment, Lin Ling finally felt the rolling pressure because the vortex seemed to have become chaotic in the universe. A touch of ancient bloodline aura filled the air. Tao Tai is already so difficult to deal with as a baby. If it grows up, I'm afraid even the 9 states will not be able to stop it. Only gods can suppress it. For the first time, Lin Ling felt how terrifying the 4 great ferocious beasts of the universe were. It was as if they were created by gods. The rolling black vortex began to devour Lin Ling. At this moment, Lin Ling could neither advance nor retreat. He was in a very dangerous situation. Time and space divine steel. Rumble. However, Lin Ling also activated his powerful killer move. The huge divine steel smashed down, and the black vortex paused for a moment. Furthermore, a mouthful of green blood was spat out. Obviously, the time and space divine steel had injured Tao Tai. Impossible. How do you have such a precious treasure? Tao Tai exclaimed again. Every trump card of the young man in front of it was a precious treasure. It was envious. However, although the time and space divine steel had injured it, it could not stop its black vortex from being activated. Seeing this, Lin Ling could only continue to smash down with the time and space divine steel. He was racing against the Grim Reaper to see if Tao Tai would fall first or if he, Lin Ling, would be devoured. However, a ferocious beast was a ferocious beast. The more it was provoked, the more ferocious it became. Tao Tai was obviously going all out. However, when the rolling black hole touched the sword on Lin Ling's back, a chilling demonic aura and murderous intent spread out. My head, where is it? A headless old man mysteriously appeared. He waved the battle sword in his hand. The sword light flashed, sparkling and resplendent. The huge black vortex was cut in half by the sword. Demonic sword. The Tao Tai let out a cry of surprise and turned into a ferocious aura as it fled into the distance. As it fled, green blood sprinkled down like rain. If one looked closely, one would see that one of the horns on its forehead had been cut off. However, from its voice, one could tell that it was very afraid of the headless old man. Therefore, it could only leave with hatred. Hun Dun, one of the 4 great ferocious beasts of the universe. I will remember this. Tao Tie's indignant voice came from afar. Plop. Lin Ling had already collapsed from exhaustion. However, a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. As if relieved of a heavy burden, he said, I'm really not Hun Dun. He did not expect Tao Tai to escape. However, he also looked at the headless old man floating not far away and suddenly shuddered. Chapter 2909. His godly devil body had taken a huge step forward. Just who was this old man when he was alive? Why was he so strong? Looking at the headless old man, Lin Ling's heart began to turn cold. He was deeply afraid that the old man would suddenly attack him. Moreover, he had the feeling that the headless old man intended to kill him. However, at this moment, the tyrannical song sword on the ground suddenly jumped up, causing the headless old man to move. Then, it disappeared into the scabbard. Looks like I have to deal with this scabbard. Otherwise, I'll be in danger. Seeing this, Lin Ling relaxed. When he came back to his senses, he realized that his forehead was already full of cold sweat. Compared to the Tao Tai, he felt that the scabbard was the most terrifying existence. Of course, this was also because the Tao Tai was a cub. Everything has its pros and cons. Although the scabbard almost wanted to kill me, it also helped me before. Now, the seawater heart flower is in my hands. Lin Ling waved his right hand and a sparkling flower appeared, causing him to smile brilliantly. This flower could greatly increase his strength. He might even be able to fight against an overlord like the Sovereign Marquis. Next, Lin Ling planned to refine the seawater heart flower. Although he felt that the outside world was in an uproar because of him, he wanted to increase his strength before going to meet those people. Holding the seawater heart flower with both hands, the sound of the sea rumbled. So heavy. Lin Ling's expression changed. He felt as if he was holding up the sea of 10,000 worlds. There were countless seas in the myriad worlds. The seas of every world were different. There were lightning seas, wind seas, ice seas, and so on. When all of these seas gathered together, it was a terrifying scene. As for Lin Ling, he wanted to borrow the power of the sea to temper his fiend god body. Rumble. The sound of the ocean rang out. Lin Ling seemed to be carrying the sea of a world on his back. His bones were bent, but a crazy smile appeared on his face. He realized that his god-demon body was changing. The realm-swallowing beast was also evolving. The seawater heart flower was indeed the soul of the infinite world sea. Rumble. The sea of lightning enveloped Lin Ling's body, followed by the sea of wind. It wanted to blow Lin Ling into nothingness. Furthermore, the sea of flame and sea of ice had also appeared. It was as if the two heavens of ice and fire had enveloped Lin Ling. The entire land shook, and the water in the third level soared into the sky. Chaos. In the distance, the Taotai was galloping through the sky, leaving the eight gods' sky. However, it sensed the changes in the third level. It roared towards the sky, its vicious aura surging. It knew that Lin Ling was definitely refining its seawater heart flower. As for the martial artists on the third level, their complexions all changed. They thought that this was the vicious creature beneath the black waters venting its anger. Awesome! Beneath the earth, Lin Ling let out a roar. A huge mouth appeared behind him as if it wanted to devour the heavens and earth. His god-devil body's power was also increasing crazily. Originally, it was 500,000 universes of power, but gradually, it reached 600,000 universes. 700,000. In the end, it stopped at 800,000 universes. As for the world-swallowing beast behind him, it was now even bigger. Its talent had reached the pinnacle of the godly body, and the aura of an ancient vicious creature had quietly awakened. This series of changes shocked Lin Ling. Could it be, as the Taotai had said, that the world-swallowing beast's ultimate form was one of the four vicious creatures of the universe, Chaos? According to legend, Chaos was an extremely mysterious creature. It had no limbs, no head, only a huge mouth. However, this mouth could devour everything. Chaos was so greedy that it could even devour itself. This meant that Lin Ling's physical talent was not much weaker than the time and space divine steel. Of course, this was a matter for the future. For now, the world-swallowing beast's talent was still very far from its ultimate form. Rumble. Lin Ling stood up like a ferocious beast. The huge mouth behind him opened, forming a terrifying suction force that swallowed all the rocks and black water in the vicinity. What a strong power! 800,000 universes of power is equivalent to the power of 80 worlds. Now, my defense has greatly increased. Boom! Lin Ling was overjoyed. He activated his second dantian, forming a change in heaven and earth. A large number of flame coffins fell from the sky, and the flame coffins were all bombarding him. In the sky, meteors fell, destroying 10,000 worlds. However, when they hit Lin Ling's body, they made his body burn with flames. However, that power could not hurt him at all. His right arm was even smashed by the flame coffins. In the blink of an eye, his body immediately recovered. This was also the immortal indestructible body. No wonder the world-swallowing beast is so difficult to kill. It turns out that this guy can't die. Lin Ling smiled. He felt that even if he did not fuse his three dantians, with his god-devil body, he would not fear the attack of an early-stage martial immortal. Moreover, if he fused his three dantians, his battle power would be so strong that he would be invincible in the early-stage martial immortal. Even if he faced the geniuses of the 9 heavenly talents, as long as they were early-stage martial immortals, Lin Ling was confident that he could defeat them. Roar! Roar! Lin Ling roared toward the sky. The powerful strength in his body made him feel dripping with exhaustion. Rumble! He took a step forward and the speed of 15 worlds erupted. This was without the evil flame change. Otherwise, he would have reached the speed of 20 worlds. No wonder the Taotai was reluctant to part with the seawater heart flower. This flower that condensed the sea of 10,000 worlds was indeed a rare treasure. After leaving the black water region, Lin Ling walked around the third layer at will. Previously, through the mouth of the Taotai, he knew that a large number of experts had gathered in the black water region. He did not know why those experts had come. However, if they had come for him, Lin Ling, then Lin Ling would definitely settle their grudges with his own hands. Lin Ling, it's you? Yes. His majestic appearance was immediately noticed by the experts. Among them, an old man shouted in ecstasy, Lin Ling, come here. Lin Ling strode over. He stared at one of the old men and frowned slightly. Who are you? I seem to have seen you before. Yes. That old man was obviously someone with great status. His cultivation was at the second level of the martial immortal realm. Lin Ling, oh Lin Ling, you are truly a person of great status who forgets things. That old man smiled and said, I am the 49 Eans. I came from the eastern border and have repeatedly gone to your rainforest marketplace to purchase treasures. Could it be that you have forgotten? Oh. After being reminded, Lin Ling remembered that the 49 Eans were frequent customers of the rainforest marketplace. However, if he remembered correctly, the 49 Eans were extremely respectful when they saw him in the past. However, their current attitude had become somewhat cold. That was indeed the case. The gazes of the 49 Eans as they looked at Lin Ling were filled with sneers. Lin Ling, you will not be able to escape even if you grow wings. You had better hand over the Son of Heaven's mandate and cripple your own cultivation. Seeing that we have known each other for a while, I can plead for leniency on your behalf and spare your life. That 49 Eans narrowed his eyes and said with a smile that was not a smile, Lin Ling, I was respectful to you in the past because you were powerful. However, you are now a piece of trash. Obediently accept reality. Understood. Hearing that, Lin Ling finally understood. He smiled coldly, you are called the 49 Eans, right? In the past, you were like a dog in front of me. Today, in the blink of an eye, you do not recognize me. Do you not feel that your conduct is very shameless? Understood. You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.